if you want like an adventure style whitetail hunt, and I'm not saying it's
you
going to
want
be
both,
easy.
You want both. You want that.
You're not going to get that in Iowa. There's no adventure in Iowa.
Would it not be an adventure for you to go to Iowa?
Well, so adventure.
It was an adventure for us.
Like, adventure's on this teeter-totter. The bigger the animal is, the less the adventure is required.
So the HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Hoyt.
Should be no surprise to anyone listening to this that back with Hoyt another season. I'm actually going to be shooting the AX2 aluminum this year.
You traitor.
But you're still going RX9.
Yeah, blacked
carbon,
out as always.
Blacked out. Big surprise for everyone.
80 pounds. Big surprise. Yeah.
But seriously, man, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Every year it seems like we get a new Hoyt bow in our hands, and they're always a step above the last and just a step above everybody else.
Yeah, they're so consistent, man. Just their processes get better, every year. And we've really been excited about, as we've grown with Hoyt, we've brought some others in with us. And we just feel like the Hoyt family is growing, like the community, and we're really excited about the people that are involved, excited to be a part of that company. And it's really awesome.
So for anyone that's excited about Hoyt like Jared and I are, you can use the code HUNTR, HUNTR, on Hoyt.com.
Get serious, get Hoyt.
And we're back.
Ew.
HUNTR Podcast, episode 300.
300, baby.
Whoa. 300, huh?
We did it.
We did it. We did it.
I did it. I'm the best.
It's pretty wild.
It's a lot of podcasts.
This is airing in January. So, I mean, this is going into year 6, I think.
I think so.
Wow. It's crazy.
What would that be? Let's see, 300 times. What are we, 2.5 hours on average?
Yeah.
750 hours we sat here at this table. How many days is that?
Plus all the companions and everything else.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of time.
How many years have I spent at this table?
Yeah.
So, number 300. Congratulations.
I'm not sick of you yet. I have been at times, but but we got past that.
Yeah. What people don't realize is we probably have another 300 off the record before we even started the podcast.
At least. Easily. Yeah.
Yeah, those off the record conversations. That was prior to
sometimes
the actual formulation.
Better kept off the record probably, but
yeah. Hate to be canceled.
As we dive back onto the record here, I'll thank everybody for tuning in, whether on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast. Those are the 3 main platforms that we drop these episodes on. We do that every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern time. If you've written us on Instagram DM or the website, those are the 2 that we check the most frequently, or try to. A lot of you guys have bought merch off the website. We appreciate that a lot. That helps us out. Also, Nick, and it's fun for us just to see, people want to wear the merch and stuff. So we'll keep working on some new designs and stuff for you for next year. In the meantime, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, on any of our partners' websites for a discount in some way, shape, or form. And other than that, here we go.
It's 2026. Crazy to think.
Yeah, buddy.
Powering into the year 6 of the podcast, I guess.
Yeah. Are you doing not long? I don't want to keep our guests waiting too long, but we kind of did in reflection there, mainly pertaining to the hunting season. But and I'm not big on like annual goal kind of thing as much as I am a persistent progression.
Mm-hmm.
But would you say overall accomplish some of your goals from this past season?
I did.
Over the past year, rather.
Yeah. I mean, the only goal as of yet I haven't accomplished, I had 3 going into the season.
You did?
I did.
The hunting season.
Yeah, I had 3 personal goals, essentially.
Okay.
One was kill the elk on public in Kentucky.
Check.
Run a 100-mile race.
Check.
Kill buck with my recurve.
Yeah, that one's been lingering for a little while.
She's stinging still out there.
Mm-hmm.
I got some time. Got a little bit of time.
You can backdate it.
What do you mean?
It's still the 2025-26 season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. It still counts. Yeah. So that's all I've been hunting with when I have been hunting here in the last few weeks is just recurve.
I haven't done it yet, huh?
Haven't had an opportunity. I take that back. I did. I could have shot like a 4-point.
Yeah. Just didn't
cross my mind.
Want to, yeah.
Yeah. We're at the point too between elk and the kids killing all the deer and stuff. Like I don't need meat. Like, I would for surely take another one for the freezer,
right.
But like cup overfloweth type of thing at this point. So if I needed meat, probably would have shot it because I'm like, I need to put one in the freezer anyways.
Right. But you're waiting for like, you know,
I've got 3 or 4. Yeah. And I mean, doesn't mean I wouldn't shoot another one, but I've got 3 or 4 that in the area that I'm going to be hunting here in the next week that I would say would be on the list. So, and now that the kids are kind of good, like Christmas and like they've killed deer, I think Dad can probably take the last week of like just me.
I think you should go for it.
I'm going.
You can take it to Kentucky
I will.
on that pinch point buck.
Yeah. And on some of the ones right behind the cabin.
That'd be epic, dude. That'd be a way to bring it home for sure.
You know what's really cool? I won't make our guests wait too long. There's on that pinch point, so it's like a rock formation that comes down, and it's literally like the only crossing between like these 2 big oak flats. Mm-hmm. And there's like another rock that I think I'll literally just sit on the rock, and I'm like up above them shooting down. It's like old school Indian style there.
I love it.
So yeah, I am going to take it, and that will be it'll be between that and we're gonna set all a bunch of traps for coyotes, which will be fun too.
Love that.
Yeah,
we'll have to raid the Illinois house for stretchers and stuff for the kids.
Yeah,
plenty of. There's probably more traps and stuff out there too.
I also have
He's probably got a whole freaking garbage bag full of. Like,
I got a ton of bobcats out there too, so I wouldn't put past catching one of those suckers as well. So
they're no harder to trap than a coyote. Probably easier, honestly.
Rigger's gotten 3 in 2 days right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
So
stupid cats.
Stupid cats. So anyways, that'll be the plan. But yeah, of the 3 goals, it's the only one left.
Pretty cool.
Pretty good check boxes.
Good deal.
You killed 3 bucks, so that's pretty check, right?
Yeah, I'm not as annually like oriented. Like, yeah, we did the thing. We made progress.
We did the thing.
Yeah, I didn't like die or lose more than 15 pounds during the season and stuff.
You didn't lose another finger.
Kept all the digits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd call it a win.
Yeah, come on. I'd say it's a win. I'd
call it a win. So cool. Well, it's a brief intro on our guest here. We didn't do much talking beforehand, so we're going to just really get to know him once we get on here. But Brian Call from originally, and he can fill us in better on credentials and stuff, but we know him originally from Gritty Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
OG. Like, I don't know, one of the first, he can tell us, you know, where that stacked up against some others, but I remember our buddy Garrett Brain listening to him. That's the first that I heard.
That's like the first time I heard of podcasts.
And I respected Brian or Garrett a lot. I was like, Garrett's, you know, because he was old.
He was old,
like not really, but that was the joke. You know, I mean, he had the wisdom, and he
was intellectual.
He was intellectual, and he was tuned into the Gritty Podcast. So I was like, there must be something to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think since then he's evolved into Gritty Films and probably a handful of other stuff he can catch up on us on here today. So we've admired him from afar for a while now. And so it's cool to have him on today.
Awesome, man. Let's bring him in.
Can you guys hear me?
We got you, brother.
Loud and clear, buddy.
Well, dude, we appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us so close to Christmas. And I know schedules are always hectic at this time of year, too.
Well, I just want to say thank you. This is super cool. I'm glad you guys invited me. You know, I'm a kind of a closet whitetail, like, I guess, voyeur, because I don't really hunt them, but I watch a ton of whitetail videos. It's kind of silly. But I've killed 3 whitetails. I've been on 3 whitetail hunts in my life, but I dig it. So anyway, kind of I watch more whitetail hunting than I do anything else.
Yeah,
interesting.
I kind of like that because I feel like I would be more of a closet muley guy because I'm like, man, muley stalking is awesome. We've done it a couple times. I've killed one, but I'm very like if people ask me, they're like, well, like what would you do? And I'm like, well, in the perfect case, I'm sitting for whitetails in an evening, but from the morning till then, I'm out spotting and stalking muleys. And I don't do it a lot, but I watch it enough and have experienced it a couple times that I'm like, the needle's in the vein a bit.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with just I've done the other stuff my whole life,
right?
Elk and mule deer and so on, bear. So I don't know. There's some novelty there with the whitetail thing, and I just think as a species, I mean, they're pretty cool. They just have that. They're so active and ornery, and they chase so much, and they got those racks, and I don't know. There's something about them. I just like them.
Well, help us connect the dots then on the 3 of them. I believe one was we had Pedro. I'll never get his last name right, but we had Pedro on
a couple
weeks ago. You hunted whitetails with him in Missouri, right?
Yeah, so we went to. So I got a back. I guess I have been on more than 3, if you count the recent couple of years where I went to Missouri.
Okay.
So my first hunt was in Alabama.
Oh, wow.
I said, go
dude, and it was like during that weird rut time where it's like they rut in February or
it's like 60 degrees and like just humid all the time, but they're somehow rutting.
Yeah. Yes. And so I think it was Brian Broderick over there over by I think Brian owns Day 6.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah. Yep.
So anyway, it was years ago. He invited me down. I went down there and I killed my first whitetail. And it was cool. I was like, oh, but it was Alabama. So
different.
It was different.
Yeah.
They're little deer. They were like
goats.
cracked out.
Yeah.
Like cocaine. They were looking up in every tree. They were switched on. I've never seen, deer like this before. So that was fun. And then I went to Ohio and I hunted the same place Pedro did.
Oh, okay.
Latitude.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I shot a buck there. That really got me addicted, I think.
Well, that's your quintessential whitetail, right? It's like hardwoods feeling like.
Oh, I was in.
Yeah.
I killed this buck they called Big Sexy,
Oh.
which just helped. I mean,
Yeah.
I like names like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's probably not that big in general, but big for that area.
Yeah, man.
And it was hardwoods, and everybody else in camp was like, I'm a diehard. Like Jared, I was listening to you on an earlier podcast and you were like, I don't hunt for fun. And I thought, you and I are brothers. Like, I don't hunt for fun either. I want to suffer. And I want to get that. I'm so driven to get the animal.
Yeah.
I remember in Ohio, they had freezing rain and it was like 2 days in. I did all day sits. No, everyone else got down, went and had lunch, got pizza, beer. And then, I'm like, no, from morning till dark. It was like 6 or 7 days. I didn't see a deer the whole time, but they're like, this Big Sexy, he comes through here like once every 7 days. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be there on one of those days. And the last hour, the last day, that buck comes walking.
No kidding. A lot
16 yards.
A lot like Pedro's hunt then, huh? He killed him very light. Dude, I was watching that hunt and it was particularly fun for me to watch because that place is really close to my family farm in Ohio.
Is it?
I must drive right past. I've for sure driven some of those roads or like glanced at it on Onyx kind of a thing. We're probably like 25, maybe 30, 35 minutes to the like west southwest from there. Like where that's at, it's very it's what that area feels like. Like you're on the PA Ohio border. It's kind of like big woodsy, like not hundreds of thousands of acres, but thousands of acres. And then go ahead. Sorry.
It's private, and there weren't, a lot of the bucks there weren't. I don't know that they scored really high, but they were heavy with lots of junk, and it just seemed like they just had really interesting racks over there. Not your typical like 10-pointer clean. There's a lot of like really gnarly stuff that I was looking at, and I have all these pictures from back then too. And I was like, these are some really interesting looking deer coming out of this pocket. So
interesting.
It was fun. And there was freezing rain for like 3 days and all the trees were falling down everywhere, limbs falling. And I'm like, should I be in this tree? But I really wanted that buck. So it felt good to get him,
That's awesome, man.
And when was that? A couple of years ago or?
When was that? I want to say 2018.
All right. Did that
2017,
overlap or have anything to do with Pedro doing that hunt or?
So I've known Robert, who runs that, for a while, and I think he just came across Pedro from the shows I did, and then Pedro's just been growing in that, growing, just kicking ass with the archery stuff, and so ended up being. I think they met after he did that hunt with us in Missouri. It was actually the same week. Actually, what happened was Pedro called me and said, I'm going to be headed to Ohio. And I was like, well, we're going to be in Missouri like a week before. Why don't you come hunt with us for a week, then go there? Since you're flying all the way from Spain. And he's like, yeah. So we got together. So but yeah, I killed a whitetail spot and stalk in Texas.
Oh,
that was like pretty cool. And then I ended up doing 2 Missouri hunts, and I killed 1 buck in those 2 years. I just didn't see something I wanted. The year I went with Pedro, I didn't see a buck that I really wanted to take, and so I guess it's been 3 that stand out. The Missouri ones were just sort of like my buddy Mark Livesey going, "Hey, I grew up here. I'm going back. Do you want to come this week?" Sure. And then the Pedro thing was kind of last minute too. But I really enjoy I don't know. I like all those hunts were a little different. My favorite was the open country Texas stuff, spot and stalk, glassing them off of the highest point was the like pump house for the well. So we climbed on that roof, glassed up some rutting bucks, put them to bed, and then stalked them. And I shot him at like 20, 25 yards with my bow. And it was a cool hunt. There was like oil jacks pumping.
Oh,
everywhere.
Do you think that was just because like that kind of mirrors a lot of your normal hunting style, that you were like just drawn into that as well?
I just like open country.
Yeah.
If I have a choice to hunt elk in a wide open grassland or timber, I'm going grassland. If
interesting.
Any animal, man, just if you just let me put eyes on it, I feel like I can kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Give me a bow and give me the open country all day long. Wandering through the woods and calling elk sucks. I grew up in Oregon. I hate that crap. I'm not much into calling animals. I like to sneak up on them.
That would make sense then in terms of the style and what you're looking at there.
I like that style. I heard who was it? Somebody was on a podcast the other day, Joel Turner.
Yep.
He's on it with Rich Froning.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want the experience of calling. I had Corey Jacobson on my show. Same thing. I'm like, I don't want him to ever know I'm there.
Yeah.
I just want to sneak up on him and kill him. So everybody has that drive for a different experience. And I think that's one of the reasons I like whitetail is I feel like I'm ambushing them secretly, like it's like a chess match, figuring out where they're at. And then it's like who can be the toughest and wait the longest, you know?
Yeah.
And sign me up. Like if it's a sufferfest, I'm winning that game.
Yeah.
Like I'm in it.
Yeah. I feel that way too.
So,
I don't know if it's an ego thing but it's just like, yeah, dude, I feel like if I can see them, if I can lay eyes on them, I mean, even whitetails, like I prefer, so Jeremy and I styles differ a little bit. And then he's like hills of Kentucky. He likes, big wood terrain type stuff. I would way rather prefer, farm country, open country, like little pockety stuff. And a big part of that, I'm like, if I can just see him, if I can just see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And really, we applied that when we went out and we did that North Dakota mule deer hunt. I was like, this is amazing. Like we get to hunt these big freaking giant animals. I can see for miles in any direction. I was like, if I can see these things with binoculars, like they're as good as dead. Like we'll find a way to get on them.
It was the weirdest thing because like neither of us have ever been in that. It was in the Badlands side of things, right? And we got in this campground. We drove 26 hours overnight to get there, right? And so we're just all jacked up, ready for opening day, and like. Which
starts at noon, by the way.
Yeah, starts at noon. We figured that out. So we like bury ourselves in the Badlands, and we're like, just like, oh man, like I can't believe, like we didn't see anything here, we didn't see anything. We're just driving down this road, and like we look on this hill, and we're like, there's 2 big bucks, just bedded there. And it's like, once you start putting yourself into like, okay, this is what they're doing. We were hunting all public stuff, but there was a lot of private cut wheat fields near where we were at, and dude, we're coming out and it's just like 10, 15 like giant muley bucks just like eating in these wheat fields like right across the line. You're like, where did these things even come from?
Yeah, I love that. I love whether it's elk, deer, bear, moose. I feel empowered. I feel in control when I can just see for miles. And even if you like, I used to hunt the Cascades in Oregon and Mount Hood area.
Yep.
And it's really vocalizations and still hunting. You're kind of creeping through the woods, hoping you jump a big blacktail buck or something, or Rosie on the coast. And it's just sort of, you could kick around for days before you actually stumble on a critter. And I remember the first time I went to Idaho or Oregon, like the Hell's Canyon area, and it was just open as far as the eye could see. And I'd look out over this expanse and I could see one elk herd, 20, 30 elk, about 2 miles to the west of it is like another elk herd, and then pretty soon I had 4 or 5 elk herds pinned down. And I remember looking out across that expanse and going, man, if I were just to wander around and hope I ran into those herds, I might do it a week from now. But I mean, like, or they wander in me, or where they bugle, maybe they're talking finally because they're kind of silent early in the season. It's like, if this was all timber, like the Oregon area or like Mount Hood, well, no wonder I didn't, it took forever to finally get into some action. Where here, I could just see them like 3 miles away and just go there.
Yeah.
And
you're like, I got to get in the game. That's where they're at.
That's where they're at. And physicality and all that, I've always been like top notch. So I like to leverage. Everybody wants to leverage their skill. I have some buddies who are a little on the heavy side, also 2 left feet, but they can shoot 100 yards with their bow. So they're smoking more mule deer than I am, but I'm pretty sneaky and can cover ground. So of course I want to hunt terrain and in situations that lean on my strengths. I did that mountain goat hunt I just published the other day. I saw that. Dude, that's my strength. The whole thing about it like fits my all my like checks all my boxes. Yeah. Then you go put me in like the Oregon coast and I got to call in a Roosevelt. Dude, I suck. I'm just the worst. So, everybody has their thing, and I've just kind of figured out over the years what I love to do and what I don't. Yeah. And I heard you guys talking to Allie about turkeys. 2-year-old turkeys versus 5-year-old bucks. And I was like, who cares? It's turkeys.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Like, who cares?
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the point of the conversation. Who cares?
Yeah.
And I get that way with like certain hunts, well, who cares? I'm not really interested in that hunt. I kind of want that.
Yeah. Well, dude, the physicality part of it is interesting. So I did my first elk hunt this year, which was kind of untraditional. I shot one on public land in Kentucky. And to Jared's point, it was kind of my style, right? It's Appalachian mountains, old strip, cool ground and stuff. Like, it's just what I grew up hunting. And
next to no elk.
Yeah, next to no elk. Yeah. Yeah, everything you could want in an elk hunt. But what was interesting is there is a bunch of guide services down there, and I did it on my own. But I had conversations with a lot of those guys that are locals, and just talking, especially after I kill mine. And the biggest thing they've said, and I'm not surprised, is like the physicality of the hunter that's been coming in for those elk has been on the decline for like 15 years. Meaning like 15 years ago, when a dude drew a Kentucky elk tag, he came out, he had been training for it, he was fit as hell. Like, if you told him, hey, we got to climb that mountain to get up on those bulls, we were up on that mountain to get bulls. And they're like, now that dude expects me to drive him in his side-by-side, like literally to where he's going to take the shot. And it's just are we getting that way across the board? Like with all hunting, what does that look like?
It's a great question. I don't know. Because I see a lot of fit guys out there getting after it. And then I see a lot of guys who never leave their side by side. I just think you have you got just a broad audience of hunters, and some want to be fit and have those challenges, and some just aren't motivated, aren't driven that way. And for my part, I'm like, I don't judge. Like, do the hunt that you find fun and rewarding and all of that. I think as a culture, as a nation, we're getting more and more unhealthy. I don't know. I feel like maybe we're actually, turning that around, and people are more conscious of their health, where they get their food, pursuing big game, and even, small ranches of buying cattle at small farmers and stuff like that. I think people are more aware of what's in the food supply, vaccinations, like all that stuff. So,
sure.
But I hear it complain all the time. Guys will get tags for hunts, and the biggest, outfitters, their biggest complaint really is the physicality, or the physical capabilities of the actual hunter.
It's the limiting factor for them, right? They can only be so successful when the hunter or their client that they're taking can't do what's needing to be done to be successful.
Yeah. I also wondered, like, I think it's definitely physical, but I think a lot of it's mental. Now, if you ask me if people were mentally tough, I'd say no. I think we're on the decline there.
For sure.
I think guys born around 1993 are generally soft.
For sure. No doubt in my mind.
Generally, I would agree.
Generally.
There's some exceptions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's a lot more guys that are mentally weak than there were 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
I agree.
Where do you think you see that? Like, where do you see that weakness that kind of come out?
I mean, you see it in every generation, I think, for the last 50 years. I would say every generation got a little softer and softer and softer. I mean, even within mine.
I mean, today,
and
though,
I think
like
it's
like in the field, though. Like, so are you hunting with guys that are younger, and you're saying like, oh man, I can hold up and he can't? Like, where are we reaching that breaking point?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think 50. I'm 51, and I think most of my friends quit doing hard things about 40.
Yeah, I would say so.
So if you look at who I hunt with, most of those people are half my age. Mm-hmm. Most of the guys I go do stuff with are half my age. Yeah, because those guys are doing the hunts I want to go do.
Right.
The guys my age quit a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's a few hard ass guys, but most they let it go. And I think, it's partly just due to convenience, like you don't, I've been talking to these guys in Africa. I've never been there. I've been wanting to go for a while, but I want to bow hunt like Cape Buffalo, or I want to backpack it and go do, and they're like, well, why would you backpack it? You can just get in a car and drive every morning and sleep in here. And I'm like, well, I mean, because I don't know. I want to do it different. I want to be hard. I want to make it a little harder. And they're like, you don't have to.
Right.
You can go have a great hunt and you don't have to. Mm-hmm. So I think some of that, some fitness in certain areas in the hunting community is driven by necessity. Just like, hey, if I want to go kill an elk in Wyoming, and I want to tag every couple of years, I got to be physical. That's the only way, or have pack animals, or both, like to get out there opportunity wise.
Yep.
But if you're a guy that hunts whitetail,
you don't have to be.
You just need a land. You just need access to land.
Yeah.
Fitness has nothing to do with it.
Not at all.
And so I think a lot of and I don't know, aging happens in it. Mm-hmm. And some people give into it and some fight it. And it hurts. There's there's nothing, you can't really, I always say, like, aging well is a battle. You have to fight it every day. Every day you have to eat right, drink right, exercise, move your body. You have to fight every day. Look at Cameron Haynes. You're like, the dude is a monster at almost 60. Mm-hmm. And it's like, he fights it every day. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't fight that battle, it gets worse and worse every day. You lose it worse and worse the older you get. Your cells regenerate more slowly. You need more sleep. Your hormones don't kick on like they used to. Lots of things happen. And so I just think, it's just the more common thing is to just take the easy path, but it's a battle if you really want to keep it, and it's not a value for everyone. No. Some people love their pizza and their beer and just want to, want to sit don't want to chase whitetail on a pretty nice piece of property. They're not interested in what I do.
Yeah.
They're not interested in these intense adventure hunts or whatever. They're just not. And so that's okay. There's I actually sit there and watch all their videos.
Yeah. No, it is interesting, man. I mean, the aging thing. So I'll be 42 here soon. And there's a ton of shit that I wish I did when I was Jared's age, frankly. Cause I'm like, I just put it off and whatever. And you get to the point where it's like, to your point, you got to fight it every day. But there's a lot of guys that I look at that are even, younger than me, or even Jared's age. And I'm like, that dude's falling apart already. Like, and I don't know, my mindset is like, once you let it go, it's hard to come back from that. It's not hard, it's not hard to necessarily stay in shape once you get the momentum moving and go with the momentum. But when you lose it and then you try to come back from it, dude, that's a massive hill to climb.
There's also a foundation.
Yeah, the older you get, it's easier to maintain fitness than it is to build fitness.
That's right.
Like when I try to build fitness, like I want to get to another level of strength or endurance or whatnot, and I just have to sleep a lot.
Yeah,
I do. Like
just charge the battery, like dude.
There's a 3 to 6 month window where I feel like if I'm really going hard in the gym and stuff and on the mountain, that I just sleep afternoons. It's like it's mandatory, or I can't build that muscle.
Yeah.
But once I'm there and I have the muscle built and I have the fitness foundation built, it's just a maintenance thing. Monday through Friday, Saturday, whatever. It's just, you just click along. I don't need those naps anymore.
Sure.
I don't need that recovery, because I'm just sort of hitting that level and just riding it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard Jocko years ago talk about, he has a certain routine every day, and he has certain deadlift weight. And he's like, I could go higher than these reps in this routine, but if I do, then I have to sleep a lot. I have to eat just right. I have to be on the edge of injury all the time, like to get yourself up there. But you get this solid level and you just like maintain it. That's where it's at. The older you get, that's where it's at. If you just let it go for 6 months and you're like, okay, now I'm going to just get back in shape, that gets harder every year you're alive on this planet.
I get it.
Dude, I'm experiencing that for the first time. a little bit. So, I do notice like in the past 2-3 years, because all of ours probably is seasonal. Like it's like in a lot of ways I'm training for the hunting season. And so when it comes here, I'm all for, staying in the gym, but the priority is like, I'm going to be in the stand, or I'm going to be, chasing whatever we're chasing. And so inevitably it's like my peak physical fitness is like August 31st. And then the September 1st hunts start, and then, you go through that, and then October comes and you're like, I still feel pretty good. I got a week or two to get back in the gym. This is at least ours as Eastern guys here.
Yeah.
And then by the time November rolls around, I'm like, okay, like I just hunted cold fronts and stuff. I hunted smart through October. And then in November, it's like, that's when it's time to grind. It's just like ass and seat time. And that's when you start like the time out of the gym really start, and then it's offset by, you're like, well, I got to just eat what I can.
I'm just crushing little Debbie's in a tree stand for 8 hours.
I got to do something, and I'm driving back and forth to Illinois and Kansas, and so the diet starts, and so by the end of it, generally it's like beginning or middle of December, I realize I'm like, oh, what have I done?
Yeah, just destroyed yourself.
Yeah,
and
the most body destroying hunt I've done in the last 2 years is 7 days in a tree stand in Missouri.
Yeah, man.
Like, that was, I'm like, my back hurt, my hips hurt, my diet was crap. Everything was like a disaster. You're trying not to drink because you don't want to pee, and you don't want to like,
so you're
have
dehydrated
to
out like crazy.
Yeah, and you're like sitting there day after day, and I'm like, everything about this is counter to like my health.
Yeah.
You're trying to get that giant buck,
Well, dude, the weirdest part about that is like you do those 7 days all day sits, and like when you're done, like you're physically exhausted, and you're like, I just sat all day for 7 days, but I'm just somehow so freaking tired now that this is over.
It's not good for your body. No way.
No.
It's way harder. That's why when some guys out west like poo-poo on like whitetail 7-day sits or whatever, or they mock it, because there's a little elitism out here in the west side.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Looking at the east, I'm just like, dude, what these guys do is tough. It's a grind. I used to do it because when I lived in Oregon, which is where I grew up, I went to Oregon City High School. We hunted blacktails, and that's the animal we had, and it was right there in my backyard, and we had access to different pieces of property, and so I relate to the whitetail. I would watch whitetail stuffs so for a decade or more, I would hunt blacktails, get 2 tags a year sometimes. And I just used all the whitetail strategies to get blacktail deer.
Oh, interesting.
And so I'd track the buck, I'd name the deer, I'd follow him for years, and then that one, I'd try to find the sheds, and, and it was kind of just, but having done that, I realized, man, time in the seat, could be just a real game changer, especially if you could get in and out of your spot without ever being detected. And you were there every day during that, because some of these blacktail bucks would only show up in daylight for a 10-day window. I'd never see them again, ever, especially during daytime. In that one, like, it was usually a Halloween to like the 10th or 15th. You had a chance. And after that, or before that, it was a waste of time. They never moved in the daylight. And
That's
so,
crazy.
so it would be, well, for those 10 days I'm sitting, and that was about the only way I get one of those big old bucks. And,
was that sit on the ground,
and
Brian, or were you doing tree stand or elevated stuff?
dude, I'm like 50 feet in the air. Like I
Oh,
would
yeah?
climb so high. I'd be shooting like so far down, but it
Jeez.
was like the Oregon trees were huge for one,
Right.
but when you got up there, you could move and you could dance a jig up there and they wouldn't
Then
see
you're
you.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was used to shooting angles and steeps, and so I practiced a lot of that. So I was proficient from that angle and shooting like that. But yeah, I would get pretty high, and I would try to put my scent in there a lot, like all year, so
Yep.
they could smell me going in on the trail and out on the trail. And you'd have a dude with his leaf blower over here, and the other guy, mowing his lawn, and it's densely it's 5-acre lots, with houses for as far as you could see. And so you're kind of hunting in and around yards and people and stuff, and these bucks would rut. And so I found it was actually more effective if they kind of just were familiar with me. I was just the
that
guy
makes
that
sense.
was at that house. And so I have no doubt they smelled me. They just didn't equate me with
Danger.
hunting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man,
But it wouldn't matter. Those old bucks didn't move until a certain pocket, and then they would move in daylight for that little window. And then that's when I would try to get one. But I did okay. There's a lot of guys who killed a lot more bucks than me, big bucks, but I did all right. I got a few big bucks in those years, and then I ended up just doing a lot more out west, Idaho, Montana,
Yeah.
even Arizona and stuff like that.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Predator Camo.
Man, this one feels good, right? I know people have been looking at this picture over your shoulder for a while now. I think that was 2018, but we just, over the last, how many years, keep coming back to Predator Camo because it's been so damn good for us.
No doubt. I think we bought our first set off of Jen at the Archer Trade Show almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Jen's still with the company, and the patterns have only improved since then. They actually were recently acquired within the past couple of years. We've had a chance this past year to go and meet with new ownership, talk about redesigning a lot of the old lines, plans for new patterns, all of the above. So really excited about what's to come, not only this coming year, but in years to come. There's a lot of good stuff coming from Predator.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it's always been going back to that breakup pattern, right? That's the historic look, whether you're talking about the spring greens or brown deceptions or fall grays.
Yep.
I mean, that breakup is really what's been so powerful for us in a tree stand. And right now, they're letting anyone use the code HUNTR on the Predator Camo website and get 20% off any of the lines, including all the new stuff that dropped here in July.
Be the Predator. Brian, can you, if you would, let's go back to kind of the beginning here before we get too far down the rabbit trail. Can you give, for us and for our listeners, just give a baseline of, I give you on the intro there, I said Gritty Podcast we're familiar with. Tell us just briefly how that all kind of got started and in a speed up to where you're at now, and we'll interject along the way here if that's okay.
You bet. So like 2014 or so, I decided I graduated from BYU in accounting and IT governance, IT information systems. So I worked for like 10 years for a big Fortune 500 company in downtown Portland. I'd ride my bike down there every day, and I did a bunch of consulting. I'd fly to India. I was running the IT division in India for a big insurance company I worked for. And hunting was just the passion that I had since I was a little kid, especially archery. And my buddies and I would go hunt, wander through the woods, do our best, call in bulls, shoot them. And I was carrying a video camera since they were around. Like in high school, elementary, like I was running those big VHS ones back in the day when we had. So I was running video cameras all the time, filming stuff, and I've been filming our hunts for fun for years with junky like VHS-C or Mini 8s or whatever.
Me too, dude.
Which, as a kid, Brian, was mainly blacktail?
It was mostly elk.
Okay.
It was almost all like elk hunting, mostly what we filmed. I self-filmed some blacktail stuff, but it wasn't adventure. It wasn't necessarily worthy of filming in my mind. And filming was like work. So it was worth it for elk. And we would go and hunt elk or mule deer out Eastern Oregon, and I'd film it and take pictures. And we had some great adventures, my cousin and I and my buddy from high school, Anthony. And anyway, I was kind of bored at the work. I was getting paid a lot of money, and I was working from home. Like it was like, well, I'd put in like 15 hours a week at the office, and then I was like coasting and having fun. I was going to the CrossFit gym and hunting. That's all I did was CrossFit and hunting. And but I wanted to get better at the camera stuff and the filming because it's always been a passion. And I was on Facebook, which was new to me, by the way. I had never done it. It was like 2014. I got on Facebook because my wife's like, hey, your friend's from high school. So I started looking at it and I'm like, oh, yeah, Facebook's dumb, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I started an account and I started kicking around on there. And I saw this invite to go do a film school on the Oregon coast with all the guys from Born and Raised outdoors.
Yeah.
And this was 2014. And I had all their DVDs because they sell them in the local archery shops in Oregon and Washington. And so I had everyone from day one. I had Angry Spike Productions, some of these old DVDs from Shannon Mobbs and these guys. So I was like, cool, that'd be cool. So I called them up and said, hey, can I go? And they're like, sure. So I met South Cox there, Jason Phelps, Christy Titus. I had no idea any of those people were going to be there, by the way. I just was like, hey, would you guys show me how to make a movie? You know? And so I went there. It was like 3 days. I met all these people and we made some videos, and I was like, it was pretty clear to everybody there and to me that I was pretty good at it. Like I didn't really ever have any training. It was all just kind of instinctual and self-taught. So I decided, well, I'm going to make a movie for the Full Draw film tour, which Cody Kellum and the Born and Raised crew were pushing. So that year I made a goal to make a movie. So I filmed a hunt and I made a movie called It's Not About the Horns. We put that movie in the Full Draw and it went around to like 30 theaters that year, and it won the tour. Well, I was getting a lot of people going, man, this is really good stuff. I'd like to see what else you can do. And I had been listening to podcasts for years, especially in the CrossFit space and the fitness area.
Right.
You know, I was listening to like Paleo Solution, Rob Wolf, and Barbell Shrugged, and some of the bigger, faster, whatever. And anyway, I had all these podcasts I listened to, and there wasn't jack squat in the hunting space.
Right.
I'm like, is there any podcasting? And for years, I'd been consuming Joe Rogan and other shows as well, and there was nothing in hunting. So I found J Scott Outdoors. I think he was around for a year or two. That was it. And it really didn't relate. It didn't click for me. You know, it was a lot of higher end stuff. I don't care. I don't need to learn how to judge a 400-inch bull. Like that's not my world. And so, you know, I was sitting there and I'm like, I had thought about doing a podcast for years, for 2 or 3 years, a hunting podcast. But I'm like, who am I? Who am I to like just start a podcast? But, you know.
Yeah.
And then I did the movie and the tour, and I had all the equipment to do a podcast, same stuff I was kind of filming the hunts with. And I thought, you know what? I need to just do this. Nobody's doing one, really. And so I happened to be at a show. Aaron Snyder was there. We started talking, and I said, "Hey, Aaron," it was in the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had a Kafaru pack, and I was like getting it fitted. I couldn't get it to fit right, and so I met him. He was there. We talked for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just kind of hit it off. And I was like, "Hey, do you mind? Would you be willing to be a guest on my podcast?" And he's like, "You have a podcast?" And I said, "I will tomorrow."
Yeah.
He goes, "So what? I'll be your first guest?" I'm like, "Yeah, you'd be my first guest."
Yeah.
He's like, "Why not?" Sure. So that I was like, cool. So I got my first sort of hunting celebrity guy, at least a guy I totally followed all the articles. I was so into backpack hunting.
Yeah.
That I sat down the next day and we did a show, and I put it on YouTube. I put it on iTunes and everything else at the time. It was iTunes, Apple. But I put it on YouTube because I knew hunters weren't familiar with hunting podcasts. The idea of like subscribing to a show was completely foreign.
Right.
And I had seen Meat Eater had launched a podcast like 3 or 4 weeks prior to this. And I think Cody Rich Outdoors, I think he launched one like a week after me or something. So there was some whisperings of new content being available in the hunting space right about then. And so I was like, I'm going to do this. But I thought I'm going to have to get people, I'm going to have to educate people on what a podcast is. And that's going to require the video medium. And this is in a time when nobody did the video version of the podcast.
Right.
Except like Rogan. Like, why would you? It's so labor intensive. It's tough. But I thought it could be years before anybody actually tuned in to an audio version of this, man, without seeing it, without it being presented to their eyes. I don't know, man. I think Meat Eater ran 2 or 3 years audio only.
Yeah,
I think most people were audio only. Jay Scott. So I sort of did this unique thing where I actually filmed it and put videos up of each interview. And I was like, I called it the Gritty Bowman because all I was into at the beginning was bow hunting. That was it. I didn't have eyes for anything else. And so I was like, I recorded the one with Aaron, and I started recording a few more just with different people I called. And this was just half-assed. I mean, it was kind of, I wanted to make a good podcast.
We've seen some of those original at the trade shows. Is that the same one that like Rogan, and was there one where Cam sat in on as well?
Yeah. So I did the podcast for, I think I collected about 50 episodes over the course of like a year. And I was just sort of, I started to interview people at like a archery shoot event or a trade show or here and there, or just get them to come to my house. I just call people and say, hey, you want to come on the show? Well, it was kind of catching momentum pretty fast. And there was nothing else quite like it, really. And we were just having fun. I was just having fun. And Aaron calls me up and he's like, hey, do you want to do more of these? Because like this did really well. I'm like, sure. So we started podcasting like once every 2 weeks or something on Zoom or Skype. And the show just kind of grew legs and started to take off. Well, I had seen Barbell Shrug go to the Paleo Conference and to some CrossFit Games events. And they would pop up a booth and they would interview like 20 famous people that weekend, dudes that I really wanted to hear from.
Just blitzed
and
it.
At that time, like people didn't have social media. They didn't really have, if I wanted to know what Cameron Hanes was thinking deep down in a 2 or 3 hour conversation, it was nowhere to be found.
Buy a book.
Unless they got on Rogan's show and talked for a few hours, there was I didn't know what Eva Shockey was like. I didn't know what Corey Jacobson, I had all these questions for these people that I wanted to like really unpack.
Who is this guy? Yeah.
And I was like, can someone I just want to be a fly on the wall while this 3 hour conversation takes place. I was desperate for information and knowledge from some of these people that I admired from afar and just wanted to see what made them tick and how they got to where they were in life and all of that. And that's just to say, like today, I feel like at some level, social media ruined that sort of medium in a way, because they can come to HUNTR Podcast and they can hear a 3 hour conversation, but they could also just go to that person's YouTube channel now or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever. And there's a lot of information about them that was available.
Even just in the podcast space, just in the podcast space itself, Brian, it's like, you could go and yourself, there's thousands of hours of other podcasts. If you want to know who Brian calls, you can go and listen to it. We're so far down the podcast rabbit hole here. It's not necessarily a negative, but that thing you're talking about, like I want to know what that person's like outside of a movie or wherever you saw them. It's like, we all feel like we know everyone now, or I do. You see these famous people, like, I know the guy. I'm like, haven't I talked to you before? Like,
well, the most awkward stuff is like we'll have guests on, and we even like writing you. We're like, hey, you good for a podcast? Like, we kind of fly by the seat of our pants, just reactionary of like who's available or what we're feeling in a moment or what the schedule is. But we'll bring somebody on, and then like even though we have it recorded, it might not air for a week or two. And then in the next week, I see that person on 3 other podcasts. I'm like, well, this is awkward. Like, and not in a bad way, but it's just like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. That's why I'm impressed with what you guys have accomplished. It's very democratized. Tons of people have hunting podcasts. And there's just some that rise above the rest that just really, and it's like, okay, it's not the guest per se, because, a guest, you might, like you said, you might interview someone and they might be on 5 other shows the same week. Right. But people want to hear from certain hosts. Like I tune into Joe Rogan for the guest as much as the guest.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And so carving out a piece of the planet that wants to hear, those interviews from you versus someone else, that's a challenge. It's a real challenge, and to be able to do it and garner a good audience that tunes in each week and appreciates your approach and who you are in the sea of other options.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. And so I was first to market. I got to ride the wave.
Yeah.
I got to have tons of guests on that people were hungry to hear from in a 2 or 3 hour conversation, or 1 hour, that it didn't exist. I owned it.
It was it. You
wanted to hear what Cameron Haynes had to say about whatever.
Yeah.
I got it.
You had it.
And you couldn't go get it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Until later. And I remember when there was like 5 podcasts, then there was like 10.
Yeah.
And I remember bitching when there was like 30.
Yeah.
Now I think there's 5,000. I don't know. Like in the hunting space, there's so
lot.
many.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember, so it was really exciting. It was a fun time. I was real controversial too. I didn't care. I still am, I guess. I don't mind having tough conversations or arguing or disagreeing with people or talking about taboo subjects.
That is the attitude too, Brian. You're like,
thing.
I guess I'm controversial. We feel the same way. People like label us as controversial. I'm like, I don't know. Like it's just,
we're just having a discussion.
I'll just say that thing's stupid if it's
you
stupid.
interview like ex-poachers or like whatever.
People call us out all the time. They're like, you got to stop having this poacher on there. And I'm like, what'd they say? And they'll say, well, they said this in the court documents. I'm like, so they lied on our podcast?
Like,
great. We recorded it. Now it lied. Call them out. Like, that's what, like, I'm just here interviewing them and have a conversation. If they lie on the podcast, so be it. I'm not going to, like, I don't have the court documents here to question them on it.
I think that's a recipe for success, because you're not sitting there like, people don't actually want a watered down conversation.
No.
They actually want real talk. And that sort of like when it comes to values and personal beliefs and all of that, we all have stances we like to take, and it can, when you're challenged on that, you're actually having a meaningful conversation.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Like
that's the whole point.
Instead of like, how's the weather, or how do you call elk, which I love, but I want to talk about ethos, ethics, real life stuff. And I think I did that too. And over the years, and had some controversial conversations. I remember having it got real dark and heated sometimes. And I got a lot of 2016, 17, 18, there's a real strong cancel culture that was going in the world at large, not just in hunting. So even though I was catching the wave, I was also getting like high levels of hate that I wasn't used to. And companies were very, very, at that time, any sort of like controversy whatsoever, they were like ditching.
Yeah, they didn't want to touch it.
And you're still employed at your full-time deal there in Portland while you're doing this?
Great question. I remember sneaking out from work and going to the ATA show. And I'm like, I had a big presentation due, and we were going to meet with the CEO over at Nike, and I was doing all this stuff for this audit project. And I was like, guys, they invited me. I wanted a booth at these events so I could grab some people and just do like 20 interviews over a weekend. And I was like, I'm going. I'm not going to tell my boss. I'm just going to go do it. And then I'm going to still get the work done. Dude, I was doing 10 interviews a day at the ATA show, 10 hours. And then that night I would work like 6 or 7 hours at night, finishing the diagrams and the stuff for my day job. And then the next day I'd do another 10. I was so juiced on caffeine and, stuff like that. And I walked away with like 25, 30 interviews, and they were gold.
Yep.
And, I got back, gave my stuff to my boss, and then he was like watching one of my coworkers was like, "You met Eva Shockey?" Dude, I've had a crush on her for as long as I can remember. You know, she's not married at this time. And I remember my boss was like, "Wait, how could you do this if you were working at home last week?" And I was like, "Well, I just worked.
Yeah.
I got the job
remotely.
Done, okay? So leave me alone.
Don't worry about it. Was it good work? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
And I remember doing that. But I went to the sheep show, and then I did the Hunt Expo.
Yep.
And I was catching this real momentum wave. And I think that's key if you're trying to launch a TV show or a podcast or any kind of media. You really have to work your ass off when you catch momentum.
Oh, it's
you
nuts,
keep
dude.
it going.
It's nuts.
Once you get established, you know, you can relax a little, but you know, there's so much competition, so much good stuff out there that's trying to take your place. You got to stay fresh and
got to stay relevant.
Yeah. So I had this podcast, it was doing well, and I had all these new shows banked, and I still had the other job. The other job paid a lot, and I didn't want to leave it. And I had a lot of companies come to me and say, "How much do you want?" And I was like, "No, I just want to stay independent. I don't want to be paid off." And I could talk crap about any gear I wanted because I wasn't sponsored by anybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did this interview with Rogan. He showed up at the Hunt Expo. He came walking by, and Cam came walking by, and Joe's like, "Hey, I'm a big fan of the Gritty Bowman podcast." And I was like, "You are? Cool." He's like, "Oh, this show was great. That show was great." And it was like, he'd been listening to my podcast. I was like, right on. He goes, I said, "Do you want to do a show?" And he said, "Right now?" "Yeah, I got a headset right here, you know?" And he's like, "Sure." So he sat down. We did a 40-minute show. And he mentioned it on his podcast the next couple of days. I put it out right away. And my show went from 20,000 downloads a show to 120.
Holy shit, dude.
Per show. And it was so intense and so quick. It was overnight. And I had banked, by the way, 30 great episodes that no one had seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, if I work my ass off, I could get one out every day, you know, batch them up. And so every day I was just cranking out something new.
Wow. Damn.
That wave. And it was hot because you had the 50 backlog or 60 shows backlog. You had Joe, and then every day you're getting something fresh and different because the show was different, you know?
Yeah.
We had some humor, we had some stuff, but we were just kind of seat of the pants. And I was saying yes to everybody. I feel you. There were so many times where I'm like, the guys at a company would say, "Hey, you need to interview these guys." I'm like, "Who are they? What's their names?" "They got this TV show. They're hot. They're huge. They have millions of followers." I'm like, crap, I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
So I'd have to sit there, and I'm just a real frank person. So I would just say, "I know you're huge, but I have no idea who you are because I just live in a different pocket."
Yeah, I'm in a different world, man.
This is a chance for me to get to know you, and my audience, maybe they know you, but maybe they don't. And I think it's a win-win, but I'm not going to pretend like I know you.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Okay, cool." And then we would some of my best relationships were formed that way.
Yeah. Just simple conversation.
And we just talked, and I got to know them right there. And then so did my audience, because a lot of my audience was digital. They weren't TV. And I was dark to that TV world. It's just completely away from it. And so within a week or two of Rogan's show, I had a decision to make.
Wow.
Go full time with this podcast, and I thought maybe in a year or 2 or 3 years, maybe I would do it, or I'd just always do it on the side for fun. But it just exploded like that. So I have that to thank Joe for, because he changed my life. It pushed me out of the nest completely.
Were you editing everything yourself too, Brian?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was back in the day where it was so manual.
That's
no AI tool.
Nuts.
No online. No, we had Skype. It was crap, and I would go through.
Yeah,
it was.
It is.
I would go through.
It still is crap.
Yeah.
I would have to go through and clean up the audio, and I learned a lot about audio over the years. And the podcast was basically just really fun for me, and it was a big deal for a long time. But I started to seek more film and adventures and outdoors. So back there, it was 2016, I think, and I decided when the podcast took off, a bunch of companies were like, "Hey, we'll sponsor you." And so I actually did some math, put a business plan together, and I was like, "Well," went to my wife. I could quit. We'll make less money, but maybe it'll be something bigger down the road. And she was like, "Quit your job, dude. Go do your thing, man." She had just beat cancer, so she was kind of like, she was like, "Dude, we could die tomorrow.
The grass is greener, man. You better go and take it while you got it."
Yeah. What are you waiting for? Like, you could always go back. To this cush job. Your skills are still the same. Like, chase the dream, see what happens. So I did, and never looked back after that. I struggled though, just like everybody does, and you guys will know. Trying to stay relevant in this YouTube podcast media market. There's so many talented people out there creating great content, and it's easier than ever to do. Tools make it easier. When I was trying to make a movie with iMovie when I first started, I mean, dude, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, dude.
Half the time my computer would just crash and I'd lose everything.
Out.
I was like, that stuff never happens now. There's so many like cool things I can do in edits that I never could even dream of being able to do. And that's because the tools have changed. So I don't know. Over the years, though, I think I've done close to 1,000 podcast episodes.
Wow.
And it got to a point where it wasn't as exciting or fun anymore. The films were more of a rewarding experience for me. I'm really into the adventure. The actual, like, go to Alaska, go to Mexico, go to New Zealand, go to Montana, Wyoming, whatever, and have an adventure. That is part of my DNA, and capturing that on camera and then editing and publishing that, for the world to see and telling a story, that is a much deeper passion than podcasting for me. And yet the podcasting was better revenue. Like it's like the amount of effort it takes to make a movie. I was watching Jared's whitetail film the other day, and I don't know, I've watched all of those, but I don't know how much time or effort it takes to make that, but it's a lot more.
Which one are you talking about? One of mine?
Yeah, one of yours.
Yeah. Oh.
Your whitetail hunt.
Not much. I mean, frankly, we see ourselves as, from an offering standpoint, it's the podcast, so as far as sponsorship opportunities and stuff like that, like that's what you get. And that's what we're, putting effort into. Dude, those films I filmed it on my phone, got a GoPro over my head, and I sent it to Nick, our producer.
Well, I was going to say, the difference is we have a producer that's editing those. So
yeah,
true, but still the effort to produce that one video compared to producing the podcast we're doing right now,
it's more.
Even if you take it easy.
Well, dude, we're a bad comparison because our level of film is so it's as basic as it gets.
I suppose, but you still have to go out and do the hunt. That's a thing.
Yeah, but that's
right.
That's
but
what
you're
going to
do anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. You're making this hard to explain. Okay,
no. The podcast is easy. I mean, so Brian, we started HUNTR thinking we were going to be a show. We were going to create short films. We had this thought, and we still do, of like, we want to do a September film and an October film, basically follow us through the season type of thing.
Wait, here's what it was.
Go ahead.
You showed us yours, so we'll show you ours.
Yeah.
So I worked for Jeremy for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Out of college, hired me for a digital marketing company that he still runs, focused in the hunting space. So, and now he does, websites, paid advertising, all that kind of stuff. And so I was had risen to, right-hand man, basically VP of marketing. And so we were doing these things, and but I was like, dude, I want to hunt. I want to hunt, I was looking for excuses, and Jeremy and I over those years had built a pretty close friendship. So I was like, dude, we need to hunt. Like, you and me need to hunt more.
Yeah.
And that's all we were talking about anyways in the office. And so like we're basically having the podcast off air for 5 years prior to starting it. And so at some point, like I see an opportunity in that our clients don't have any content and so we're failing at our job because like you want us to run ads or, do media buys and stuff with what content. So I was like, dude, let's fill the void. You and me can go out and get it. Right. That's our excuse to go out and hunt more and stuff. And then we can bring that back to our clients and there's a value there. And, so that's where it,
in theory,
that's where it kind of started. I don't know if it ever fully, filled that void, but it did lead to us for sure, spending more time in the woods. And eventually I left that position. My wife and I bought a family business, an ice cream shop actually on her side of the family. And so we split on the Stone Road Media point, the media company at that point. But now we've started to like we're kind of in the realm there where we're doing some more hunts and stuff together. And then so that idea really is where this started. We're like, let's film some stuff. And then so whenever that actually we caught another wind of what that could be.
I think the problem is when Jared and I enjoyed hunting with each other. Like one of the first things that we did was this mule deer hunt in North Dakota.
2020. So that's when we started.
Yeah, and so no cameras. It was just us. Went out and hunted. We killed 2 mule deer on public land. We ate all our breakfast, drank all our beer the next morning, and drove home. Like, it was just like one of those things. And so, going back to it, it was like, okay, we talked about it. It's like, all right, well, let's document it. Let's film it. And let's do it. Well, we took 2 camera guys with us the next year, and it sucked because he's 2 miles this way, I'm 2 miles this way. We each have a camera guy. We're not hunting together. Like, it just completely changed.
And now there's pressure.
Yeah, it just completely changed to what we wanted to do. So we're like, well, we can still hunt together and why don't we just come back and talk about it? And like, instead of documenting it. And so we still do all the hunts and stuff. It's just, we did introduce the camera aspect, which at its simplest form is us self-filming.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's like, we just talk about it.
Well, and fortunately, we found a stride in that I think people enjoy Jeremy and I's dynamic, which, we enjoy it too. So I understand why people, it's not any one of us individually, but the fact that we like agree but disagree on so much, and like
there's 10 years between us from a generational thing of like what I experienced versus what he experienced.
Yeah. So to your point earlier about like, tuning in to see a host or collectively or whatever, it's that dynamic that I feel was kind of like the secret sauce to the HUNTR Podcast, is people enjoyed Jeremy and I's dynamic, and then throwing a guest into it and allowing them to experience that is what caused it to grow. And at that point, then we're like, dude, well, this is what we like anyway. So like, let's not ruin the hunting. Let's just freaking do whatever we want, and then just be consistent with the podcast. And we've been doing that now for 5 years, I guess. But HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Deer Grow.
Man, hard to believe, but Deer Grow has been the sponsor that's been there since the beginning of the HUNTR Podcast. Back in 2021, I think that they were the only partner that we had, but it's such a cornerstone brand and set of products for our food plot strategy throughout the year.
No doubt. And it seems like we used to have an off season, but not so much anymore. It's like when the hunting season ends, it really rolls right into food plot season, habitat projects, all of the above. And the Plot Start and Plot Boost have been there since the very beginning. That's a cornerstone for all of our plots. The Plot Start goes on at the beginning, Plot Boost goes on midway through. And since they came out with all of the fertilizers, that gets mixed in with the Plot Boost application as well. And I can't believe the results that we've been getting out of that.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like I said, it's all the work now that really produces the results in the fall. So right now, anyone listening to the HUNTR Podcast can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for 15% off any of the products at deergrow.com.
Better food plots, bigger deer.
What I would say, this is how I look at podcasting versus films.
Yeah.
Is podcasting is a low barrier to entry market.
For sure.
Most people can just start one.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
And there's not much, that stops you.
No.
And in a low barrier to entry market, I think you have to be consistent over a long period of time to grow. For sure. Because there's just so many other people that can just enter and are entering and are doing it as well. And because there's so much democratization out there and just anybody can do it, and all the tools are so available, now you have it's more like there was a monoculture that used to be out there where, for example, when I first started, there's only like 4 or 5 hunting podcasts. Everybody in hunting that was listening to a podcast knew of my podcast.
Right.
right? There's only 5. So you're kind of, it's culturally relevant across the entire West, let's say, or even guys that are just interested in learning about hunting or coming out West. Like, so your name and your show is like recognized throughout culture and throughout. So you go to a trade show and everybody knows the Gritty Bowman podcast,
right?
That's like Meat Eater or whatever, right? Fast forward to today, and the HUNTR Podcast can have this massive group of people that love it and follow it in this corner, and this group over here could never have heard of it before.
Absolutely.
But this group over here could be huge too with their own little community here. But that monoculture of everybody being aware of the HUNTR Podcast, it's not a thing anymore.
Doesn't exist.
That ship has sailed. It's a different world. And so you don't have to be, in my view, as a podcaster, you don't have to be, in fact, you can. I mean, there's a few, like everybody knows Meat Eater, for example.
Sure.
There's a few that are up there, perhaps Cameron Haynes, Keep Hammering, the Keep Hammering Collective podcast, so forth. But, and I'd say you guys are approaching that level, right? Like, or you're there. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that much stuff on the Eastern side or Whitetail side, but you guys are massive. Like,
well, we're definitely not we're definitely not that level of viewership. And frankly, and it's, there's
it's by design.
Everybody's got their own niche kind of a thing. It's like,
but I would say, like,
go ahead.
When you look at the East Coast versus West Coast audience, for example, I think there's, how many whitetail hunters are there? Like 12 million?
10 million.
10, yeah.
10 million?
Yep.
And I think there's less than 1 million elk hunters.
Yeah. Give or take
4 million, like Western hunters, right?
Well, all in Western hunters is like, 4, but that could be like bird hunters and other stuff too. Yeah.
I think there's 700,000 or 800,000 elk hunters.
Yep.
Which to me is like, okay, that's more like indicative of the West in some ways. But my point is, it's a low barrier to market kind of space. So there's you chug away at it for a long period of time, and you start to really win, and now you can kind of build up your own little corner and totally win there and bring value to people and get rewarded for it. Now, on the film side of it, it's similar. Like, competitions everywhere. Everybody can film great hunts now. I see a lot of obscure channels where a guy only puts out 1 or 2 videos a year.
I know, right, dude? It's nuts.
And I'm like, and some of those channels, I look at it and I'm like, that dude has 1 million subscribers. I've never heard of him before.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong with my life? Like, and I look at his production. I'm like, dude, I work so hard on film, and nobody will. It's like, it's just a weird world today. But the barrier to entry on a film, in the film space, is way higher.
Yeah, much greater.
Then, you got to have the computer and the software and the camera equipment and how to run it and then how to edit it and tell a good story and, make a film. And that's a lot harder. And there's more barriers to enter that market than in podcast.
Yep.
But those barriers are diminishing by the day. Just because of modern tools. But still, it is a little higher. It's a different, harder market to enter than podcasting. And in that regard, it costs more for me to go to Alaska and do some adventure moose hunt, film it all, come home, make some films out of it, and get it out the door. Let's say I get 150,000 views on that video and it converts into a certain amount of revenue for me. I could do 10 podcasts that cost me almost nothing and 10 hours of work, never go to Alaska, and get similar numbers sometimes, and then generate revenue. So it's like I think there's a lot of incentive even on the video side today. There's a lot of incentive to go for volume and quantity of production than there is quality. Quality is not really rewarded, at least in the short term.
No.
And your YouTube channel doesn't really grow, but if you're just blitzing stuff every week. And so I feel like the quality of content has really diminished over the last 5 years.
Oh, dude, it's plummeted
on the video side because the algorithms and the systems reward the opposite of that.
Yep.
So it's just a whole bunch of stuff out there, but none of it really like excites me.
That's the craziest thing, man, because we're content consumers, right? Like, we're YouTube guys at the end of the day. Like, that's where we watch. If we watch hunting content, it's on YouTube usually. And like, I would say in the last 2 years, maybe, I couldn't tell you the number of times Jared and I come in and we're like, I'm like, dude, what are you watching? Like, you seen anything good on YouTube? And it's like, there's days that we're like, there's nothing. And I would have told you
slowly dwindled over 5 years.
Like 5 years ago, I would have been like, I can't keep up with the amount of stuff that is just hitting that I want to watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm just digging through the trash can. I'm like, I can't find anything here.
That's how I feel.
It's nuts.
And I feel like, and I felt like over the last few years, you know, I sort of pursued like more, like when I did the movie The Struggle or Blood in the Snow with the wolf hunt, my elk hunt, like I put a lot of time and effort into the story. It's more of a labor of love and a passion than it is about making money, because it doesn't make very good money, that model. And even now, you know, I'm going back to producing, you know, parts, like episodes, like 3 or 4 episodes. Because if I had broken up some of these movies into parts, then I would have had like 18 shows.
Right.
Instead, last year I had 4.
Yeah.
Well, that killed me. Like
because of the algorithm standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. Like people saw it and they loved it. Same amount of time went into producing those minutes.
Well,
2 hours of production broken up into 25-minute episodes is a lot different than just 1 2-hour drop. And
here's
that 1 2-hour drop killed it, but didn't help me pay the bills.
Well, dude, here's one thing that we found, and you know, we have seen astronomical growth on Spotify and Apple in the last 2 years. YouTube prior to that was, I mean, it was off the charts. And in the last year, we've kind of just taken more. I'm like, man, just doesn't, like, some of these videos that I thought would get legs just aren't. And so I spent, I don't know, a long time over the last couple of weeks just digging into our analytics and just stuff on the web. And the YouTube algorithm is absolutely suppressing long form content. And when I say long form content, I'm talking about like this, like a 2+ hour podcast or a 2-hour film. That is not being favored in the suggested, which is how we traditionally got most of our views.
At one time, it's 80% of your viewership comes from suggested videos. And so now it's looking at, like, it says, oh, Brian watches primarily like 10 to 15-minute videos. So I'm not going to suggest to them a 2-hour-long video, you know, at the end of that one.
Yeah.
And we're suffering from that a little bit.
On YouTube, at least. I mean, on the other platforms, it's cranking, right? It's through the roof. But and I mean, we're not going to necessarily change what we do. Like, this is just how it is. And we're going to keep.
Well, you got to have an identity checkup, you know, once, twice a year. Like, Jeremy, are we doing the right thing? Or do people enjoy it? Or do we enjoy it? We're like, okay, cool. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think, and I've witnessed that too. Every YouTube channel, almost 90% of the hunting channels are down in viewership.
Yeah.
You know, when the hunting public would get 300,000 views per video, you know, those numbers, they're at, you know, sometimes 60, 50,000, and everybody's the same. Hush. Like, you go out there and you look at all these YouTube channels that have been around for a while and doing well, everyone's numbers are down across the board because YouTube has changed some of those algorithms and messed with things. Yeah. And so it doesn't matter if you want to subscribe or what you want to see. It's more or less going to put in front of you what the system has kind of figured out you will watch. So in a way that kills creators.
Absolutely,
and it does hurt. But I got to ask this though, because my I used to put out a movie and get an automatic 100,000 views. Now I put out a movie and I'm hoping it will reach 50. You know, sometimes I get 500,000 views on a banger video. Now I'm like, will I get past 80, 100? So the thing is though, when I look at my audience and I look at my, like, I use a lot of discount codes over the years. Especially when I first started to come up, it was just easier. And I prefer the freedom it allowed me to have. So I would just say, he used the code Gritty, get a deal on this backpack or this, whatever. And so I could track what worked and what didn't work too, which was a major advantage, because some companies would say, hey, we'll give you this blank sponsorship for the year. And it's like, great. My incentives are mixed. Because, you know, when I see like the dollar bills rolling in from the direct, I also know, well, this worked and that didn't work at all. Nobody cares about that product, but they love this product. I don't know why. So the codes really taught me a lot. And so I would lean on those. Well, even now I still lean on those a lot more than I do sponsorships. I feel like sometimes I feel like a sponsorship's like a straitjacket. I don't like being told what to do. I'm really independent. And so with codes, it's like, if I sell, I sell. If I don't, I don't. And everybody's happy.
Yep. Right.
And I feel like I'm eating what I kill. You know?
Yeah.
If I sell, I get it. So in that space, I can look at my views are a third of what they were, but my sales are a little bit higher. So what do the views really mean?
Exactly. Nothing.
Do they matter?
What does any of it mean, Brian?
Dude,
we don't know. We don't know. And I thought you were originally going to say compared to your like audience size, like in terms of YouTube subscribers. Like, dude, you know, we look at our own channel, we look at other people's channel. Everybody, you know, we study. There seems to be no correlation between subscribers and viewership on videos. Like none. I'm like, what do they even mean?
Like I'll see somebody with like 700,000 subscribers and then they get 20,000 views. And I'm like, well, we get 20,000 views and we have 70,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Like I have 170,000 subscribers on my original YouTube channel. And I created a new one just for film. And I think it's at like 50 or 55,000. And I've done this test where I put the exact same movie up on both channels.
Yep.
And the new channel will pull in 25,000 views in 24 hours. And the old channel will pull in 5,000 views in the same period.
Wow.
And it has 170,000 subscribers versus
crazy.
So subscribers isn't it, nor is how long the channel. In fact, I think a lot of that's probably hurting me. You know, when people clicked my channel, for years it was to see a podcast,
right?
That's what they subscribe to. Then here I am giving you a short, like what, or a or a hunt film. And then the hunt film guys are like, dude, I get notified that you dropped, and all I care about is your hunt films. I don't give a crap about your podcast. And it's like, well, now I have all these subscribers that get on to see a film, but I produced 30 podcast episodes to one film,
right?
So they're rejecting everything that gets sent to them by the algorithm. And then the algorithm is like, this guy's stuff doesn't hit. Or I drop a movie on a Sunday and I get 150,000 views. And the next 5 days I drop 3 podcasts and they each get 1,000 views a piece. It's like, especially since most of my podcast audience is like 90% audio, even though I've done the video for years. I just think it's been around so long. It's just so driven by audio on my end.
Yeah.
Never really quite converted into the video very well for me.
There's a lot of algorithm at play for sure that we may not, ever understand. I mean, I do think, and I've known people that know people at YouTube. And so there's like nuggets that get dropped and then we all try to figure out what it is and we do that. But I don't know, man, we walk the line of like, we didn't do this originally for, for views or for revenue, even for that matter, And so in fairness, Jeremy and I don't do this, if you're going to say quote unquote full time, in that we both have, other jobs. So I don't mean to speak about it lightly, but like that gives us the freedom, I think, to be like, well, do we want to chase views and things that we think would like drive revenue and stuff, or because this is what I want to do. I want to just, and it's not a complicated format. We've told it to you already. It's like, I just want to talk to people that are interesting and keep driving down a niche that we love. And it can be frustrating in a way because some of the channels that we see that get a ton of views, you mentioned Meat Eater is a great one. Like I see that as a very watered down, like generalist type of content. I'm like, so I'll watch it. And it's great that those guys do it and people watch it and they enjoy it. But like, there's no meat there for me, no pun intended, I guess. Like I'm looking for diehard, whitetail content and like this, and it's just not there, and you can run down the channel. I know a bunch of them that are like creators and it's all the stuff is very general. And I'm like, it's great. It seems like that is what, is mainstream. That's what gets, views.
Or insanely entertainment.
I was like, we're just not going to do that.
Like there are obviously lots of channels in even the hunting realm that like their content is purely entertainment. There's no adventure. There's no, there's no engagement from just like being in like an adventurous hunt. There's no even like what we would do. I would say like, hey, it's just a hunt and we want you to see what we're doing when we talk about it. It's purely entertainment. And the algorithm loves it. And like you see it, like I'll see these guys, I'm like, dude's got 1 million views on this thing in 2 days. And I'm like, I don't even know who he is. Like he went out and shot a deer and I'm watching like the first 2 minutes. And I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like how are a million people like, this is great? I don't get it.
I'm leaning toward more all the time, and I've been this way from the beginning, but even sort of lately, just not looking at the numbers, because what I feel from an audience that appreciates what I do is a lot different than what I see in numbers.
Yeah.
And so the numbers also kind of push you to change what you do.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for, really, man. They want you to do that.
Yeah, they're really pushing you to like, okay, Brian, do not spend this much time making films. Spend a tenth of that time and get more of these out the door.
Yeah, give me 15 shorts under 60 seconds. You're like, what?
And I could do that, but I actually believe that I have a really deep quality audience. You can go to the comment section of the films and read what people say.
Yep.
And I think it's much, much more of an indicator of where you're at. If you're making a difference, is what do people say in the comment section? And do they just go, for the algorithm, or do they actually type in, dude, you helped me lose weight.
Yeah.
My husband, this, I'm that, and like you change things. The comment section and the engagement there for me is a much greater indicator on whether I'm making a difference or not. And so is watch time. But you can't look at people's watch time. You can't look at everybody's channel and see what their watch time is. And so now I know what my watch time is, and I have compared to some of my favorite channels and their peers, and I am like 10 to 1 with a lot of their watch time. So it's like, man, they have way more views, but someone clicked it and they clicked out. When people clicked my film, they watched it from beginning to end.
Exactly.
Like crazy watch time. So it's like, okay, if I look at watch time and I look at the comments, they tell me to keep doing what I'm doing. This is where I bring true value to people. If I look at the YouTube view count, I suck. If I look at my subscriber count, I suck. If I look at other things, like I'm horrible.
I know, man.
So I'm like, and then the other thing too, what sort of kept me on the right path, I think, for the last 5 years is codes. I could see, like, even though my numbers weren't good, I would do giveaways or promos and stuff with other peers at the same company.
Yep.
Like 5 or 6 big time channels that dwarfed me, and we would do it, and then I would outsell all of them. So I'm like, okay, it goes back to Gary Vaynerchuk talking about, would you rather have an audience that's 1 million people and 10,000 of them do something and, help like participate, or would you rather have, 50,000 people and 50% of them, 25,000, like,
that's exactly
really support you.
Right. Yeah.
I think, I think that when you get supported like that you have a smaller audience, but they are hardcore, that tells me that you brought to their lives something of real meaning. And they then reward you for that. They truly appreciate it. They reciprocate. And that's sort of my model and what I try to build as a driver for me, and ignore kind of that numbers.
Yeah. Well, did we do some of that too? Just in terms of codes and stuff. I mean, we don't, and you don't either. We're not shoving them down people's throat. It's like we kind of mentioned it once at the beginning of the podcast. I guess there's some commercials that get overlaid throughout here and stuff, but it's fun and it's satisfying for Jeremy and I to see, because the companies that we have partnered with over the years are companies that on year one we would have been like, man, can you imagine like if we could sponsor with like a Lone Wolf Custom Gear, or like run down a list, a Hoyt, like. Frankly, it's every one of our partners at this point. Like, I'm super proud now of the partner list that we've built. It's like if I could have handpicked companies, we're getting there, and so it's really, really cool. First of all, for them to be able to have some trust in us, give us codes that give our followers discounts and stuff, and to be able to see, it's not like we're just here to sell stuff, but that is an indicator of. You see them using the code and engaging with companies and products that we really believe in and that we've been using for 5-10 years before we even partnered with the company. We're like, that's a good relationship, and we have a good audience.
Well, we want those guys.
This is a good fit here.
Yeah, we want those guys to get a return on their investment. Like that. If they don't, why would they keep sponsoring us? Makes no sense, right? There's no partnership there.
There's so much that goes into evaluating your performance, and if you're competitive and you're you're a go-getter and you like winning, which I'm all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to add value and uplift people and make a difference in the world and leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Like those are all things that are all tied into the mix.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to do all that, then, trying to figure out how to measure whether you're doing that job or not, you have to choose something.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, how you convert into sales is somewhat of a measurement, even if it sounds a little shallow.
No, it's a strong metric.
It's actually like, do you have a connection that's meaningful?
Exactly.
That's really a big part of that. And especially if you're selling something that doesn't have legs on its own.
Right.
Like when I would say like, go buy a Yeti, well, they wanted it anyway.
Yeah.
Now, if I said, go buy this boot dryer, they're like, why would I do that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, because you can backpack with it and it does this and it does that. And you have to like teach them.
Yeah. Why? Why is it valuable to them?
Why is it valuable? And then you convert into sales. That tells me that your audience is really listening and they care and you're making a difference versus, everybody wants this bow, let's say. All I have to do is put it on my page and people will go and buy it. It's not the same as trying to sell an obscure product with a new partner that's trying to get a foothold. It's kind of, so you can use different things to like measure where you're at and if you're making a difference. Yeah. And that's one of the ones I use, but I think watch time is another massive one.
I agree. I think that's huge.
It really shows
it's
whether people are engaging or not.
It's fun being partnered with, like, if you're going to call them underdog companies or just like, there's a handful. I would say Predator Camo is one. You know what I mean? It's like they're not a big company. They're certainly not like a Sitco or a Kuiu but they're somebody that we've used for a long time. Just whatever had a relationship with somebody at the company early on, had success with the product, and we're like, we like this, and so we just kind of stuck to our gun. Never had a camo partner like in the meantime. And then years down the road, they get bought. We happen to, get a relationship with the new people, go and meet with them. And we're like, hey, listen, we've been dreaming of this relationship for a long time. Like before you even, this was born, so let's make something happen here. But
yeah,
Brian,
I love it.
Are you partnered with Yeti since you mentioned them?
With what?
Yeti.
Oh, am I partnered with Yeti?
Yeah.
No, I was for a while.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started, I had Sitka and Yeti and some of these big brands. Look, I had Joe Rogan on. He blew me up overnight. And within the next 2 years, I kind of owned the podcast space.
Sure.
I was getting companies calling me up and saying, how much? Just tell me. So it was pretty cool. But the checks were massive. Like it didn't seem fair or right. It was easy money. And then it kind of, competition got greater.
That's exactly it.
It's hard to tell. Things are political at times. So I got to a point too where I'm also like fiercely independent.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to do it my way. And I would rather be poor and have freedom than have security and money and no freedom. Like I'm so freedom oriented that I don't like partnering with big corporations, big companies in general. I go straight to the small guy and I've tried to build them up from the ground. So like, for example, Peaks Equipment.
Yeah.
Peaks just had a trekking pole that they called the Sissy Stick. And that's where it started. And I'm like, let's sell the hell out of those. And then now it's a premier, outdoor brand making hot tents and shelters and headlamps. And now they're in all the shields across the states. And,
That's
it's
awesome.
like a big thing. Initial Ascent is another one. Their backpack just wasn't getting much traction in the marketplace. But I'm like, dude, this is a great pack and we need to talk. And so I would go and find these small little creators. Austin over at Graxaw, he's just making some game bags. Well, now he's coming out with some like skull cookers and stuff that are like cutting edge, $700, like,
damn.
like electric, like cat's meow kind of stuff. And so these guys were just guys that had one product in their garage, came over to me, and now they're like in all the major stores and they're a major corporation or a big player. And most of my partners that I have today all started from just one little product, came to me, and then they have blown up into something big. And now I'm like foundational to that brand. And
sure,
there is no like there's just freedom, and the money is there now.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the beginning.
Right.
And I like that. I like that. So,
well, there's authenticity to that, right? Because people can look at that and say, well, clearly Brian wasn't in it in the beginning for peak, right? Because there wasn't anything and it was one product. Now you being there and talking about him is like, yeah, he's been there from the get-go.
Yeah, and I got to help design and build things.
Exactly.
And say, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Can you guys like do this? I talked to these guys, your competitors, but they wouldn't do this thing I really wanted done. And trust me, I spent 100 days in the field, living in this thing. This is a problem. And they would go and listen to me.
Yeah, which is amazing.
From the start, like some of these backpack companies, I'd go, hey, do this, do that. And they're just like, no, we got it, And so I'm like, okay. And now okay. These companies I'm with are like their biggest competitors.
Yeah, steamrolling.
Yeah.
The HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Beast Broadheads.
Dude, Beast Broadheads. Man, we've been advocating for and shooting expandable, especially big expandable broadheads for years and years now. And it just seems like they just keep making them better and better. And ultimately, with the relationship we've forged with the Bowmars this past year, we're just super excited to be shooting the Beast broadheads this year.
I mean, this broadhead it's the world's sharpest expandable broadhead out there. It has best penetration, and it's got bone avoiding technology. Ultimately, we want to create the most trauma possible on a deer when we release an arrow. The Beast Broadhead does that for us every time.
So right now you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for a discount on anything on the Beast website. So definitely go check out beastbroadheads.com.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. On the content stuff, just as like if I'm looking into the crystal ball, like YouTube changes this freaking algorithm all the time, as does Spotify and Apple and all these other guys. I think that we're in this weird period, and this isn't a knock on like these generalized channels and stuff, but we're in this weird period of just like, kind of wide and shallow, right? Which is the entertainment side, which is just, short time span, attention span type stuff. But history has told us that if you can be narrow on subject and deep on that subject, you become an authority. And I think we saw that a couple times, like even over the last couple years when we kind of hit some of our niches in this whitetail space and land management space. Like we saw some videos really take off from that. And then we kind of got into this, frankly, this kind of wide and shallow, which is not our world, right? And it's not your world either. You're very much like, here's my world, and I go balls deep in this thing. And so I think, give this thing a year or two, and I bet that YouTube kind of realizes, hey man, this wide and shallow stuff, like maybe it gets the views, but the attention span, to your point, the watch time, like nothing's sticking, the loyalty's not there, everybody's just bouncing all over the place. And all of a sudden this kind of narrow and deep is going to come back, because ultimately that is our audience, right? Our audience typically, I joke with the waterfowl guys, and they can cuss up a storm about it, but I'm like, dude, you can't be a serious waterfowl hunter and a serious deer hunter. It's impossible. They overlap too much, right? You are gear committed and time committed to one or the other, and that's narrow and deep, right? So I think that mindset, whether it's this year, next year, 3 years, it will circle back, because everybody always from a viewership and consumption standpoint finds that this is their wheelhouse, and they just want to know as much about it as possible. And I think in our hunting content world, that's what will come back here in the near future.
Yeah, if you were to look back in 5 years from now, like look back over that period, what is the mark that you want to leave?
Yeah. For us personally,
I'm asking, like,
asking us.
Yeah, what is it that you would be like super fulfilled by in terms of what you accomplish?
Our main priority for this, like we said, we kind of like you, we have difficult discussions, we have uncomfortable discussions. Our main thing, again, being narrow, is we want, and I can't say it's 100% approval because it's never possible. We want as many people to have a good deer hunting experience as possible. How you quantify experience, that could be, I want to kill a a booner, right? It could be, I just want to take my kid out deer hunting and see deer, right? Wherever that range is. At the end of this thing, we want people to be able to have a good or great deer hunting experience. And the way that we are trying to get there is to have educational discussions with people that, you know, from all walks of life, all these different states, but even more so, kind of put a lot of these state agencies on the hot seat and say, hey, listen, we're hearing what people in your state are saying. Like, doesn't sound good. Like, what's the plan here?
Yeah. The problem being, Brian, and this is maybe more of like a Midwestern to like, you know, just in the whitetail range. I mean, that's really like the world that we live in. And that we participate in a lot. You know, we travel to the Midwest to hunt, and so we're actively involved across the whole range here. Is we just see the experience diminishing, like our own in some cases, or you know, it's threatened, or you know, everybody we talk to, we're like, what is the experience? Well, I'm losing access, or you know, or I can't, you know, get a buck to a certain age class that I'm you know, these goals that guys have, whatever it is.
Technology is over the top, and it's like, you know, it's all right here. Like, I don't even have to go out and hunt. I can just wait, and then go and sit and kill them, you know, like
it seems like it's diminishing, and like our diagnosis seems to be that it's like at the hands of mismanagement from most of the states. It's like, okay, well, we can look at and say, well, it's this piece of technology, or it's, you know, it's mismanagement at the end of the day. And so you'll have guys like, have you seen Matt Ranella is Steve Ranella's brother? He's kind of like the anti-hunting influencer guy. Like he'll see the same stuff that we're seeing, which is, hey, you guys are losing access. You know, guys are not having as enjoyable of an experience. But, you know, and he, you know, will point at hunting influencers and be like, well, that's the problem. You know, is there too much demand because these guys are, you know, promoting, which we think is stupid and just wrong.
I got no time for the hunt quietly crowd. Give me all the smoke there. Like, if you follow those conclusions to their end, they go nowhere.
It's retarded. Yeah, it's dumb.
You also can't stop technology, and like you can stop the ocean. You just can't.
Yeah,
can't do it.
So it's kind of I see what you're saying. Like, we all see this decline in opportunity because more and more people want to hunt than ever. That's a big part of it. Technology plays a big role in educating people, but then also making it a little easier than ever before to go hunt.
Sure.
We should. I'm interested to hear what you think about that philosophy. But talking about as far as the access being reduced, that's a real problem. I mean, I do feel like I used to be able to go to a gas station and buy 2 elk tags and hunt Idaho.
Yep.
Those days are gone. I can't even get a tag.
Right.
And I just did the draw. I doubt I'll get a tag in a 3 or 4 year window. That didn't used to be a thing. I used to be able to just hunt elk to my heart's content. Now I can hardly get an elk tag without some gap in between, you know? So the demand is higher. So and yet
it's a problem for sure.
Hunting is better than it's ever been. Like
from a quality standpoint,
from the quality and the opportunities out there. It's like, if you look at the available animals in each state, there's more available now. It's just that I think there's more people who want to do it.
Sure.
When you have your Joe Rogans and your, and you know, even now Jelly Roll out there, getting out there and hunting. Well, dude.
Yeah. That's recruiting a lot of people. Yeah.
And the more you talk about how cool hunting is and how special it is, and that damn Cameron Haynes out there doing that stuff, it's like, okay, I can say that.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden now everybody wants to go do it. Yep. Well, do we want that or do we not want that?
Well,
and the truth, the other question is, can you even stop it if you wanted to?
Yeah. And it's two really, so both, if I had to like subdivide the West from like the Midwest and East, both have access issues. In the West case, there's more people wanting to come in, thus tag restrictions, thus harder to draw or harder to get tags. On the Midwest and East side, it's the constant increase of opportunity or liberalization of opportunity from a state side that then is forcing the rich essentially to insulate themselves from it. So what do? They secure more land. They either buy and or lease more land, displacing the average hunter, who then either hunts public or frankly just quits because it's not good. And so it's weird because both are access issues, very, very much so. It's just very different between the two in terms of like how access is being limited, I guess.
talking about the crowd that's like, hey, you guys just stop talking about it. That crowd, often I see this where someone will say, well, I just care about hunting so much. I just care about it so much that I think, we should be really attacking these influencers. They should just shut up, or these people that get to hunt for a living, we should make them go away. Mm-hmm. And my thing is no, you don't. I equate them to socialist Marxists, basically. Like, I don't believe a socialist actually cares about the poor. They say, oh, I care about the poor. I just care about the poor. And it's like, no, they really just hate the rich. They just hate the people that are successful. Right. That's really
AKA their brother.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's the story of Cain and Abel. It's just all over again.
Yeah.
And so you have this thing where it's really more about hating someone that's successful than you do actually care about the downtrodden.
Yeah.
The downtrodden, saying you care about the downtrodden is just an excuse to hate people more successful than you without getting blowback.
Yeah.
Right. And they might even believe it.
Sure. Tell yourself long enough. I bet they do believe it.
I think they believe it, but I'm here to tell them they're full of shit. They actually don't care about hunters that much. It's not that they're so worried about hunting. They just hate the people more successful than them.
Well, they can't be
worried. The reason I say that,
they can't be worried about hunting there, Brian, because they're anti R3, right? They don't want to retain.
That's what I'm saying.
Or reactivate.
If you were to follow their logic, just like you do for socialism, poor people lose in the end.
For sure.
It doesn't actually help them. It doesn't help anybody. But it certainly doesn't help the poor. These ideas that they push forward to help the poor, like take the money from the rich and redistribute the wealth, and it's like, okay, you really destroyed the rich for sure, but you actually didn't help the poor either.
And the rich are going to just work harder to insulate themselves further. Like they'll find a way to beat it.
I see the same thing in hunting. If you were to say, if we don't tell our stories as hunters, why bear hunting should be a thing, why wolf hunting should be a thing, why we should trap or predator hunt, why turkey, like if we don't tell our stories, the anti-hunting crowd will tell them for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the end result will be we lose hunting. That's
sure.
You can look across the world and see. So we have a responsibility to tell our stories. We also have a responsibility not to burn spots.
Yep.
We have a responsibility not to sit here and say you should go hunt blah 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 when you have a massive audience and just completely kill it for the next decade.
Right.
So I understand we should have this conversation about managing, with someone with a platform and reach, being careful about what you share about hunting areas, because people have been hunting there their whole life. The last thing they need is for you to go with your fancy YouTube channel and get 100,000 people trying to draw a tag in that spot moving forward. I think that there should be an ethos and an ethics set there where if you're on YouTube and you've got to reach, you have an obligation to be as private as possible about where you're hunting. But we should all strive to tell our hunting stories. And why we do it, because the more of us that are out there and the more of us that are doing that, the more we preserve the future of hunting. And that's just a fact. You can just see it. There's so many good shows out there and it's so commonplace now. People understand why black bear hunting should be a thing now. I remember in 2005 and 2007, I put some stuff up and you'd have thought I murdered babies. Now I can put it up, eat bear, educate you, and it's like people accept it, no problem. Black bear's fine. You can hunt black bears, of course. And that only comes through us telling our side of the story, being bold enough to do it. So I think that we have that responsibility to do it, but we also have a responsibility to manage how we do it, But I don't think history has shown that if we just be quiet, that we're all good. If we just keep our heads down about trapping and we don't ever talk about it, that we'll keep trapping. No. The more we talk about trapping, the more likely we're to keep it. And that's just facts. So does that generate a problem with competition for tags? Absolutely.
Sure.
Right? Like the more we talk about our stories, the more we inspire people, the more inspiring hunting content that's out there, the more people value it and want to try it. And I can't blame them.
Sure.
So what do we do?
Yeah, it's badass.
How do we maintain hunting opportunity then? because it's so valuable to get land access to hunt a big whitetail in, let's say, I don't know, Iowa, that if you're a landowner, you're going to sell it to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's capitalism.
So what do you do? How do you keep opportunity out there? I have ideas, but what do you guys?
Well, and I agree with what you're saying, Jeremy. The West is, I think they're very different, like scenarios. And just truthfully, I don't know the answer, because it's like, on one hand you say, hey, our primary issue is like there's a shortage of tags. There's more demand for the tags than there are being issued. We're sitting here in the whitetail world, essentially like, on one hand, kind of like calling for that. We're like, dude, the states just aren't doing anything to reduce pressure on the resource. Therefore, the resource is just diminishing. And I don't mean deer numbers are falling. I just mean the quality of the experience is declining. Along with, like in our case, it's like we're looking for a certain age class or quality of a whitetail. That's what we're after. That's what we're trying to find. That's why we're going out of states here and stuff. So that is becoming fewer and fewer, or it's being hoarded by guys with bigger corn piles, more box blinds, more properties, kind of a thing. That's where it's very different from the West, I think, to the Midwest. We, frankly,
yeah, for sure. You guys, when it comes to trophy quality, generally it has to do with private property.
Oh yeah.
Like big tracts of private property have great deer. Everything else suffers. Is that
tough to find them, at least?
Kind of. I mean, the access thing is so different, because it's not like, well, hey, there's this piece of public where all these big bulls are at, and so-and-so spotlighted it, now we can't get tags. Whitetails live everywhere. They're like the animal of the people, so it's like you used to be able to hunt any given 40, 60, 80 across the Midwest and, have a decent opportunity of seeing, a deer like that, or of any class. You just go out and accomplish your goals as a whitetail deer hunter. And so, but now that we have all these, the tools or technologies we would point to that have like expedited this problem would be all of the above. Your mapping softwares, your cell cameras, crossbows in the archery season, continued, allowance of baiting, in some of these states.
Yep.
All in combination with one another. And it's not influencers' fault, we feel, for promoting how great hunting is. We feel the same way. Dude, when Matt first said that, I was like, feels dirty. I was like, I can't blame anybody for speaking about the thing that they love and that they're passionate about. I was like, we're going to keep doing it. So what we do feel, though, is that, the state should be responsible for managing the resource and the pressure that may, it may be influxing because of influencers, stuff like that. So, go ahead.
So what state, whitetail state, would you say is doing a great job, and why? What
Iowa.
Are they doing that's great?
Yeah, so Iowa is obviously the pinnacle. You know what I mean? We would say, having spoken to their state deer program leader and many others and looked at all the numbers across the boards, they're killing it. Everybody's happy.
What are they doing that is enabling that to happen?
There's no baiting in the state. They can't bait.
No baiting at all.
No baiting. There's no crossbows in the archery season. Is by far and away the biggest one that sets them apart. Almost every other state in the whitetail state has succumbed to that in the past 10 years.
Correct.
So what you have...
And they have a non-resident draw.
They do, but that non-resident draw and the demand that you see... So if anybody's unhappy with Iowa, it's non-residents, because it takes so long to be able to go out to hunt there.
Right,
okay?
Right.
But
the same is true in Montana and Idaho at this point.
Yeah.
Most Western states, it's like, I can't get a tag as a non-resident easily anymore.
And that's not Iowa's fault. That's every other state's fault, because ours sucks so bad. We all want to go to the place that's doing it right.
Right.
So if our states were all doing it right...
So you think...
Go ahead.
You think if neighboring states would remove the crossbow season from archery, like you can use it during rifle, right? Or whatever.
Whatever.
Or shotgun or something. Okay, remove that, and then no baiting.
Yep.
And issue a non-resident draw. That would have a tremendous impact, you think, on age, class, and opportunity, and better hunting experience.
So I would say it's a challenging one to probably put back in the bag. first of all, mainly crossbows in the archery season. Like, dude.
But hypothetically, if they could, it would absolutely change the landscape.
Well, best case scenario, you'd go back and not do it in the first place. But sure.
I mean,
plan B.
Is that just because, dude,
the political environment?
You might as well use a rifle, man. I mean, it's not, especially if it's on a tripod or.
It's the political environment, because most of those states are managed through the legislature. The legislature has now written it into law that it is archery equipment. Therefore, to get it out of the season, a new law would have to be written to defining it as not archery equipment.
Well, and you're asking, you're commenting anyway on ethics and like the difference between it. Like there's no question it's different from a compound bow, and severely different to traditional archers' points, from a trad bow. Like we've got, we're a long way from there. In most states, Brian, the archery harvest is comprised of 60, 70+%.
At least 50% plus.
That's crossbows. Okay. At this point. So a large majority of the archery harvest in most whitetail states comes from crossbows. I don't know what the percentage is. 90% of those came from the firearm seasons in those states. So what it did effectively was it converted a very high percentage of firearm-only hunters into archery hunters. Okay, right. The difference between firearm hunters used to only hunt 1-2 days a year. That was kind of the thing, and so they could cohabitate with bow hunters, on public land, whatever it was.
They weren't going to lease land. They weren't going to buy land. You would only never a few days.
Fathom occupying property over the duration of a season. So what it did was it increased the footprint of hunters during the archery season.
Well,
times 10.
What's the point of these more primitive archery, these more primitive weapon seasons? What's the point? I mean, other than personal, but each state has implemented those to increase hunter opportunity.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Like, that's the whole point. That's why some areas it's trad only.
Yeah.
Or it's
muzzleloader
but with iron sights.
Yep.
Or
yep.
You put these technology weapon restrictions into place so you can issue more opportunity. So you get 100 guys in the woods. If you have a 10% harvest rate.
Yep. With lower harvest, that's what I was going to say. It's more opportunity with a harder weapon, therefore
with lower success rate.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like we could give out 10 times the tags if we make it so everybody's only shooting a compound or less than we do now, given that we're allowing the crossbow to be used.
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of basic. You're basically, a crossbow is not far from, I don't know, a rifle. When you're dealing with, or not a rifle, but like a
slug
shot and muzzleloader. Yeah,
very comparable.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, muzzleloader. So I saw a dude who had a handicap. He has a handicap issue, and so his crossbow is shooting like 120 yards.
Oh yeah,
with a scope on it.
Oh yeah,
and he's just like sitting there and putting it in himself and just tink. It's just not if he hits it. It's just he hits it. Like it's It's not like a compound. That's for dang sure. So your effective range is so different. Yeah. Everything about it.
Well, dude, and we don't care. Like it's not an ethical thing at all. I'm all for it. We're probably idiots for not using the most lethal, weapon that you can during that season.
Well, that's like saying I don't care if a guy wants to use a recurve either. Like
no,
instead of a compound. And if you said you can only use recurves, well, you could give out a lot of tags.
Yeah. And guess what? The three of us would be using a recurve. We wouldn't quit.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
We'd pick up a recurve
from that.
Exactly.
That day on.
That's the hardest discussion to have with people is because, in the state's mind, they're like more opportunity is a good thing. We're going to kill more deer, da, 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 da. It's the complete opposite. Although it creates more hunter days, the access has dwindled drastically because of that. People with money insulate themselves from their neighbors, right? So they either lease more ground or buy more ground. Yeah. People get displaced from that. You jam all of these people into public land. Well, guess what? That experience sucks because there's 30 guys on 300 acres. Like you've domino effect this because you thought more opportunity would yield positive results.
In our state, they have, and I've seen it out west. They used to allow the Garmin 0 for like 3 or 4 years, and they're like, nah, it's too technologically advanced. It's causing, they think, a little bit higher of a harvest rate.
Yep.
So they said no.
Wow.
They also took some states and they divided up, or some units, and they divided them up, and they said, you know, we're going to do some experiments. And they said, okay, so this state was, this part of the state, had 3 seasons, you know, archery, muzzleloader, rifle. They said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take muzzleloader, and you can only go like old fashioned muzzleloader.
Yeah.
And then after that, they said, rifle, you can't have a scope. It has to be iron sights. Right. And the other half of the unit stayed the same. So they took all those units and they cut them in half, and they made one half far more weapon restricted, but they can give more opportunities, more tags.
Right.
And that the test is to find out over the next few years how that impacts, you know, the area and what they want to do, because hunter opportunity chances at going hunting have diminished,
right,
as the weapons have gotten more effective and the success rates are much higher.
Yep.
So they're working on, you know, making the hunts a little harder to kill on. Weapon restricting those things. And I think that's brilliant if you are running into opportunity problems.
Well, dude, Arizona, we just saw the other day, took crossbows out of their archery season for exactly that reason, which we are sitting over here in the East watching, like, dude, some of the states in the West, I'm like, holy shit, like somebody's doing it.
Ban trail cameras, right? Most of the Western states have trail camera bans now. And
they should. And I think it's fine if you want to have, like, this unit is crossbow, okay, and this unit is not. Like, it's all all of these requirements and regulations you set per unit, they're a balance between harvest success rates and hunter opportunity,
right?
Chances to get out and hunt.
Yep.
And the more primitive, the lower the success rates, the more opportunities you can hand out. The other direction, the fewer. Like, if you give out a rifle tag during the prime rut of the archery or of the bull elk season, it's not an if, it's a 100% success rate. It's 100%.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, so you know that in that unit, you know, however many tags you're going to give out, that's how many people are going to kill an elk. But look at that. If you go to the bow hunting side and you made it real primitive, you're like, well, dude, we can hand out 100 tags and only 7 people get bulls.
Right.
Well, in this unit, we could do 500 tags and we're only going to get 50 elk killed.
Yep.
Cool. Let's do that. So all these more people can get out into the woods and give it a go. And people get to choose. They're like, I don't want that. I'd rather wait in line 7 years and get that rifle tag. Okay,
great.
You get to wait in the line.
That's your decision.
I really think it's a mistake when they allow too much technology to be used. And those harvest rates are now, like, so much better than they used to be. And you're just seriously hurting hunter opportunity. Because how do you learn? You go out there and you come close. It's like, how many years did I go out on an elk hunt when I was younger? Like 7 years, I didn't get a bull, but I came close.
Yeah, learned every time.
Now I'd kill every time if I had a crossbow.
Right.
You know, now it's, I think it's a problem, but I would like to, I don't like the whole crossbow thing being in that primitive weapon category.
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Lone Wolf Custom Gear.
Man, those Lone Wolf stands have become such a cornerstone of our equipment over, recently, but I mean, also we've been using these stands for a long time, even the original Lone Wolves. They're all built right here in the United States. The lines just keep getting better and better. Cody and Andre and the whole team just keep innovating and introducing new stuff into the line this year. And they've got some new things coming this year.
Yeah, so this year we've got the Patriot Series, which, a lot of people are talking about this as being the cheaper, just fixed position side of things. But let's be honest, they can be mobile too, right? They weigh 12 pounds, but they're built from a value standpoint. So for guys like us who want to have 3, 4, 5 preset stands out there for certain wins, we can put this Patriot Series out there, have them ready. Nothing better than slipping up into one of these fixed position stands that's already set on the right wind.
No doubt. And so this year, as of right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR. It's a one-time use promo code. Gets you 10% off anything on the Lone Wolf Custom Gear website. That's any of the custom gear stuff, any of the Patriot Series. So whether you're planning on getting into one for the first time or you want to stack a big order here before the season, code HUNTR will get you 10% off.
Hunt like a wolf.
Well, Well, dude, imagine
It's
this.
just not.
I'll give you the far extreme, you know, so like in our, I call it, you know, loosely home state of Ohio. We technically live in Pennsylvania. My parents live in Ohio. I do most of my hunting there. You know, they allow, there are no restrictions on anything. So you can use in combination, which most people do. I can use a crossbow during the archery season. I can dump a corn pile. I can run a cell camera over it, and I can hunt, you know, out of a box blind. I'm not saying any one of those things is inherently bad or unethical. You know, I would use any one of them, but your odds of success are like 100%. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, if you don't kill something, like you're doing,
unless you're being selective, which is the problem.
You're doing something wrong. So, and this is where I think there is a difference too between Western species and whitetail specifically. Is it seems like, and you would know this better, like as a resident. So I'm maybe looking at it from a non-resident perspective. Most elk hunters, or I would just say Western hunters in general, like it's like if they don't, their heart's not so set on one animal. You know, it's like if I don't kill a bull, you know, or the biggest bull, like, you know, by the 4th or 5th day of the hunt, it's like, okay, I'll settle with a legal bull or even a cow. I want some, you know, that mentality seems to exist there with more of the Western species. Deer hunters generally are less likely, I would say, to like, well, if I don't see that big buck, you know, by the 5th day of my hunt, I'm going to shoot a doe. Like no, they just,
right.
And so what we do is we wait for these cell cameras to tell us when whatever the biggest buck is there. We don't go and shoot other does in the meantime.
We're not even hunting.
Actively manage the population. We just wait until the clicker goes off. Oh, there he is. Let's go hunt him tomorrow night. And then we go in and shoot him. And so you have vast tracts of properties that are being actively surveyed with corn piles and cell cameras, but not hunted. And so the population, frankly, is slipping away from us. Like we're not shooting does at a rate that the general public would like to see.
They're like micro refuges that are being built, like, and it's crazy.
Yep. And so in the meantime, we're so effective at shooting. In most cases, it's 3 and 4 year old bucks is what it is, which is fine. It's a big buck to some people, but it's not a super mature. And so that's what's happening. You know, you have the doe herd kind of getting away from us. Everybody's just mowing 3-year-old, 4-year-old bucks. And so guys who are wanting to see, you know, a higher experience are buying more and more property, or non-residents are leasing more. There's a high demand for big bucks. And so non-residents are getting displaced. So you have all these negative things happening.
Well, and there's look, I, at this stage, am not interested in shooting a small buck.
Mm-hmm.
It just does not interest me at all. They're zero. And when I was younger, there was for sure. But you kill enough animals and you've been out there, like it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me excited at all. Yeah. And there's nothing that interests me more than like a massive coos deer. And there's nothing that interests me less than a small coos deer.
Yeah.
Like if it's not an absolute slammer megasaurus, I don't care. I don't want to shoot it. It's nothing to me. It might as well be, it's the most boring animal ever. But then those giant, gnarly, trashy, like 120, 130 inch bucks, just like they're some of the most exciting animals I'll ever see. I want that experience. Anything less, I'm just not interested. And I feel like, you know, it equates to whitetails too. Like I'm not really interested in a small whitetail. I want a big one.
Yeah.
And so it gets to a point where if you're going to do it, I think guys are like, well, I'm willing to spend the money to get that lease because I want that experience. I want to chase that thing. And those guys that aren't old enough or haven't built the wealth or don't have those opportunities, they're froze out of that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get it. And it sucks. And so I think one of the things that I would say, coming from someone who's kind of explored the planet a little bit, when it comes to hunter like opportunity, like adventures, I truly believe there's a lot of adventures to be had that are really affordable. You just have to stop going with what you've always thought of as an adventure. Like,
right.
I can go to Kodiak Island for cheap and go hunt blacktails and have an incredible hunt, or I can go to Mexico at a pretty decent price and go and find a slammer like coos deer or something, or I could go to New Zealand and for the cost of like $1,200 round trip flight, take my bow and I could hunt stag, tar, fallow deer. Like there's all these adventures around the world that are actually far less expensive than a lease in Iowa and offer an incredible life experience. Even like some of the wolf hunting in Alberta I've done or going to Alaska DIY moose. Like there are so many hunts that are actually on the budget book, fairly affordable if you're willing to do something different than what you've always done your whole life. So in some ways I look at all these hunting opportunities that are out there in the world today that so many hunters just ignore, look down their nose at. Even hunting pigs in like Texas or something or California, it's like these are some fun hunts, but they'd rather spend a life's fortune on that lease for that whitetail deer than do 3 epic trips somewhere that are so much better. And so to me, so I kind of feel like, I don't know.
No, that's interesting, man. That's a really good point. And it is, I guess, my fear, and it goes back to your question of like, you know, what do we hope in 5 years that people look back on this thing and it's this hunting experience is like, I don't know how much longer the whitetail deer hunter can handle this. Like we just talked about, there's 10 million of us. I would bet to say that 25% of them are standing on a ledge ready to step off because the experience is trash. They've either been displaced, they've been trying to hunt public land, maybe they're even new to it, and their early experiences like encounters with, you know, trespassers or bad encounters on public land or not seeing any deer or whatever. It's like there's 2.5 million whitetail deer hunters ready to be like, forget it. I'll go golf or watch football or go to a concert or whatever. Stay at home. Like they're that close. In theory, and I'm not saying we don't want to lose those people, but in theory, the experience will improve when they step off the ledge, right? Because immediately you take 25% of the people off the landscape, it will, but the other effects that happen, to your point, how does non-hunting public feel? How do the antis feel? Like our voice is already a far cry minority. You lose 2.5 million of those people. And to Jared's point, we can't manage the deer population as it is with them. Without them, we sure as shit can't manage the deer population, right?
I think that's honestly...
We're failing at our jobs, basically.
Yeah, I think that's honestly the problem is like, you know, the general public expects us to, whether they know what's going on or not, you know, it's like, you know, the hunters are what manages the deer population.
Every time one of them hits a deer with their car, they cuss a hunter. I guarantee it. They're like, what the hell, man? Like, how is this even possible?
And if we can't do it effectively, many state agencies have told us they'll do it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I thankfully I'm in a position financially where I'm a little better off than I had been when I was in my 20s.
Oh, dude, us too. Like we will hunt deer. Like it will not end for us.
I'm getting some pretty cool, and plus when you're connected, like I am,
sure.
and you guys are in the hunting industry, there's doors that open as well. So it's kind of like, you know, I had limited abilities when I was in my 20s to buy the house I wanted and to buy the cars I wanted and buy, you know, and it takes years to build up the wealth to get better and bigger things. And I think that's also something that contributes, and people don't want to hear it. But, you know, I listened to Dave Ramsey back in the day. And it was like when I was getting down to debt, and I remember Dave being like, these 25-year-olds walk out and they try to have the same house, the same side-by-side, the same trailer, and the same boat as their parents took 50 years to get.
Yep.
And they want it today.
Yeah.
And so I think on some level, it's like the bitching is like, well, get wealthier, be more successful, and work your way up and earn some of these things that'll come later. Now, I realize that's really pisses some people off and they don't want to hear it, but that's also part of life. And so I can do things now that I couldn't do 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because I've spent a lifetime earning and growing and doing things. And so there's some of that involved, but it's undeniable that the demand of the American public to go out and hunt is at, I mean, they always talk about how hunting is on the decline and people don't want to do it anymore. And you see these articles. I think 5 years ago, I'd see them in like I'm like, I ain't feeling that. Are you?
No,
you're smoking
not
crack,
at all, dude.
That ain't true.
Every property
Especially
I drive by is getting hunted. I don't understand. Like everyone.
Yeah. So I think that the demand for a great hunt and hunting experiences is at an all-time high. Like it is harder for me to get tags now than it ever used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like there's hunts out there, man. Like I said this the other day. I love spring bear, man. I have some freaking, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see some epic spring bear adventures, man. And those are to be had in most of the Western states with an over-the-counter tag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like, there are so many hunters that say, I don't even deer hunt or elk hunt anymore. I just bear hunt. I can get 3 or 4 tags a season and I can hunt for a whole month and a half and smash a bunch of these bears in great country and come home and have better tasting meat. You know, it's like, it's out there to be had. So again, if you get out of your box and kind of what you're used to, you're out there having an adventure that's on a quality level and a rewarding level, maybe higher than what you were before, but you have to do something new. You have to do something different. And so I spent a lot of time in the spring bear mountains, and it's gotten more popular too. There's more people that I have to compete with now than I did 5 years ago and 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to continue to be like that. And I think as hunters, we can sit here and complain about it, or we can adapt, overcome, improvise, find ways around it. And that's really what winners do. They find a way.
Yeah.
And that could be in impacting the state's management and how they do it, you know, on a long-term trajectory or plan. It could be, I'm going to go and I'm going to hunt like Idaho bears, and I'm going to go to do this I'm going to go hunt Aoudad in Texas because I can't afford a bighorn sheep. So I'm going to do the next closest thing. Right. So there's so much out there, I think, still for hunters. You just have to be someone who adapts and finds a way.
Yeah.
And you might knock more doors, or you might go shoot them on golf courses like Lee over at Seek One. You know, like you start seeking even urban deer hunting has gotten competitive. You know,
dude, it's nuts. It's I mean, it's extremely. It all is like if we were talking about this with who was, I guess it was Dustin Mall, but we were basically saying, like, you know, if you're looking at a map and you're thinking of a spot and you're like, ooh, that's a good spot, there's likely 1,000 other people that thought the same damn thing now. Like, that's the world we live in, right? 15, 20 years ago when you had to roll out a topo map physically, right? People weren't looking at it that way. Nowadays, dude, if you're looking at an electronic map and you're like, boy, that looks like a good spot and it's public land, dude, thousands of other people have thought the exact same freaking thing. And that's scary to think about, man. It's extremely scary to think about.
It's totally true. Yeah, there are guys that figure it out every year.
They do.
Big bucks.
They absolutely do, man. And that's why, like, it's possible. The hardest part, especially in the whitetail realm, and it's you know, just it's a generalization to whitetail hunters, is most of them will not work hard enough to be successful. And it's because they're the same people that for their entire lives whitetail deer have just exist, right? Our grandfathers told us about finding deer tracks, right? Most of today's hunters, dude, there's more deer than they knew what to do with. So when they go out in the woods and for some reason they don't see a deer or shoot a deer, they're like, this sucks. This place is trash.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, dude, your car is 50 feet away. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is if you can, there's ways to put in like a multi-state strategy.
Oh yeah.
Where now I know like every 3rd or 4th year I can get a tag here, and every 2 years here, and every 5 years there. And so it's like you think ahead and you map this plan out for the next decade, and you're like, okay, if I do this right and I have this strategy, I'm gonna get a great tag. You know, on alteration every year. I'm kind of close, or every year I hit something that I'm excited about. And you can still have a lot of that, but I don't know.
Takes planning though, dude. It takes thought. It takes planning. It takes preparation.
That's what I said. Adapt, improvise, overcome.
That's it, dude. Yeah. That's what it is. It's tough for people. I don't know what it is it's you know, you have to self motivate yourself to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you. You know, or I guess there are some services now that'll do it for you, and maybe that's the problem. But like you literally have to think about it and plan it out, and you have to want to do it, right? Like it's the we live in a society of instant gratification, which is definitely a big issue when it comes to what people expect when they go out and hunt. Like if they go out and hunt a day, I don't care if it's for bull elk in the mountains or whitetail in the Midwest, and they strike out, they're like, well, damn, this sucks. Like, what the hell? And I'm like, well, been out for one day, dude.
Well, and there are some other things too. Like, there are people that are willing to do more. Like, there are people willing to move to Iowa,
yeah,
so they can get a resident tag every year. There's guys that are willing to move and become a resident of Montana from now on, so they can get that elk tag every year.
Yep.
There's people willing to buy llamas and raise them and feed them and stuff so they can go where other people won't go. So there's lots. I'm serious. Awesome. Like there's, it's all out there, right? Like it's,
eat your food,
how bad
Tina.
you want it.
Food.
That's right. So I mean, all of that stuff is people are willing to do more than others.
Yeah. But that's the way that the world is, right? That's the reason there's a upper and lower class, is that there's some people that are willing to go further than others are.
Well, and I think some of that too is just a value structure too. Like some people are like, they just don't value the same things I do. That's okay. Yeah. It's just not their thing. They're like, you guys you spent way too much time thinking about deer. Like,
for sure.
What's wrong with you?
For sure.
I'd rather go snowboarding.
And I'm glad they do that, because there's not enough for us all to think the same way.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
But I do think my contention is still the same, that we have more cool hunting opportunities than people have had most of history. And to bitch right now in this day and age is kind of whiny and weak. I bitch, and I'm not saying, I think it's fun to bitch a little bit.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, now find a solution, win, find something to do, and go and then go do it. And like I said, I still think there's a lot of great stuff going on out there that you could go do as a hunter if you're just willing to adventure or expand things a little bit, get creative, plan ahead. There's lots of opportunity. You see these guys that go out and kill big bucks in multiple states every year in whitetail. I follow some of their YouTube channels, and it's like, these are public land dudes too. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, they've combined skills, that they've developed over the years, combined with hustle and some connections, and boom, they're out there finding a way. So
no doubt
it's there. I'm not going to deny that there's not more competition. There is. That's why I've thought about moving to another state as well, just so I can get those resident tags.
Well, I like what you're saying, Brian, I like what you're saying about, thinking outside the box. I think the problem, like with us, whitetail hunters, is like, we're sick. You know what I mean? Like
you are addicted to that species.
I know. We're so addicted to that species. And I think like we just obsess and we fantasize about it, like happening in a certain way and having a certain, interaction with the animal and stuff. And like, I just think that, it's just not always, possible. And so I think we've done exactly, what you've said is like, hey, we're going to just find a way to have great opportunities. So we go to a multitude of states.
Yeah, we have a multi-state strategy every year.
100%. Like I killed 2 in Illinois this year and 1 in Kansas. And so, dude, even outside of that, I'm like, and I can't get totally away from the deer obsession. Like, don't get me wrong. I've hunted elk and stuff. And like, truthfully, I'm like, it's cool. I don't know what it is, dude. Like I said, we're sick, so I'm like, okay, I know what I like.
Muleys though.
I love muleys.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of with you. I've never been a huge elk guy.
Yeah.
I'd much rather hunt mule deer or whitetail.
It's kind of whatever.
But I love it. I want to do it. Here's the thing. I love a high quality elk hunt. Sign me up.
Sure.
Sure. But low quality elk hunts piss me off.
Yeah.
They're just a lot of work with a low reward.
Yeah.
They're not that fun.
I know.
So if you draw a sick elk tag, there's probably no better hunt on the planet you could go do, but just they're not available.
Yeah.
Do you do much mule deer hunting?
I have been. I've done a lot of late season rifle stuff over the last decade, but this year I did Alberta a few years in a row.
Really?
I've done that a few times.
That's kind of on the radar. I'll take some input on that if you have any.
Yeah, I'm trying to do more Alberta next year.
Archery or rifle?
And Utah has archery. I'm kind of moving this year and the next few years. I'm kind of mostly archery. I'm slipping in a rifle hunt here and there, but I'm going back to my roots and really just doing archery as much as I can. You know, it was a business decision as much as anything, you know, an opportunity. When you're trying to make enough hunt shows for a YouTube channel, you got to get out and hunt. And the rifle seasons offered so much opportunity, and they were much easier to fulfill, to get a tag.
Yeah.
Sure.
And also to get a buck in these remote areas where we would backpack into in the dead of winter. No one's there. And you can find some giants. And it just was fun. But so a little bit of rifle. It's also, I could self-film a rifle hunt. It is tough to self-film an archery mule deer hunt. Like, they suck. Those kind of films aren't generally turning out that good.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford a cameraman there for a while. So,
yeah.
But now I'm all about, I have a few good tags in my pocket for that mule deer archery stuff. So that's my jam right now, is filming and doing a lot of velvet mule deer archery stuff, and then going into the Alberta rut type stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my.
That was always our question with the Western guys, is like, we're like, okay, you guys get all prepped up, then you've got, as a bow hunter, right? You've got August and September. And then what? Like, what do you do? Because, like, we're grinding through, like, January, right? We look like rut one bucks at the end of this thing. But it's like, for most
there are some deep, there are some deep snow archery hunts.
Okay.
Out west for those mule deer.
Interesting.
And they're just not hit that hard.
Yeah. That's tougher. Again, like you said, it's just a tougher hunt.
It is, but they have some big deer, and it's crowded. And everybody's blowing up your spot and stuff like that. But they're there, and the opportunities are there. But I'm kind of leaning toward much more, a lot less elk hunting than I've done in the past. If I can get a tag, and it's a good tag, I'm going elk hunting. But it's getting a tag. It's tough.
Yeah. I'm with
Crazy,
you.
Man.
We have a handful of, like, my dad and I've been putting in for Arizona elk tags for, I don't know, 5 years now. We've got 5 points. I think I have four points in Montana also, which is, those ones are pricey.
You should be able to get one this year. Then,
I probably can. My problem is, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have it planned. I don't have a.
Yeah, the white. I've wanted to go whitetail hunting, you know, for a minute and get on some property and chase some deer. But I wanted to ask you guys, like, what do you consider a big whitetail?
Well, big is relative. Like, Jeremy and I are looking for 5 years old or older. And, you know, ideally, you know, I would say 160 is kind of like the lower end of what you'd call a high scoring buck. You know, obviously a 200 would be like pinnacle. Like, it's a lifetime buck. So somewhere in between there, you know, 170 is a booner, gross booner, you know.
So how do you feel like about a 150 buck?
That's a big buck still.
Respectable buck.
Depending on where you're at. Like, if you kill 150 in Iowa or Kansas, people don't care. Kill 150 in Pennsylvania, parade it around, dude.
Yeah, true.
You know, that's just how it is.
There's an age factor too. I mean, so much of it that Jeremy and I are after is like the history or the relationship with which I know sounds like super intimate, but it's like, man, if there's a 7 or 8 year old buck that we've known, he's been on the farm since we bought it, kind of a thing, and he scores 130, 140, like, dude, that's a trophy to us. That's a big buck, you know.
Definitely. I'm of the same mindset in a way. I'm like looking for the unicorn. It doesn't have to score well. It just has to be old and wise. And I outsmarted him. You know? So I'm okay with that. I of course I'd like the old and wise to correlate with giant rack. That would be great. But I'm just slightly, almost just as satisfied as long as he's like old.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be big. There's just something about an old gnarly deer that survived. And you get them. That's just rewarding.
There's
so that's
nothing
definitely
better, man.
What
and you can kind of tell even when they don't score well, they still have that mass. They still have that look usually.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the fact that they
old
just
deer.
like, no knock to like a Kansas or something, or even an Iowa where it's like, they don't get the pressure. But if you get into like an Ohio or Pennsylvania or Michigan or Wisconsin, wherever you're at, and that deer gets to 6 or 7 years old, like especially a buck, like, dude, he must live in a hole, because the number of times he's probably been shot at and either wounded and or missed or whatever, like, dude, that deer's gone through some shit. So I mean, when you take him out, there's an appreciation for like, this deer has freaking just survived in elements and bullets and broadheads for 6-7 years. Like, that's my pinnacle. HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Primos.
Dude, double bull blinds, the original doe can, and who could forget the iconic Magnum buck roar?
I mean, that in a nutshell is Primos for whitetail deer hunters. I mean, that buck roar is by far the best grunt call that's ever been made. I lost it in a CRP field in Kansas, somehow found it, and for the last 10 years, I've been notching every buck that I've called in with that call, and I can tell you there's a lot of marks on it.
There's been a lot of them over the years, man. I can recall. So my dad actually shot that 160-inch 8-point in Ohio a couple years ago. It was double bull blind. I just set that up a few days before, and we've had a lot of success out of those over the years. And so right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, for a discount off anything on the Primos website. That's primos.com.
Speak the language.
Brian, what kind of experience are you after? Like, are you thinking public land, private land, Midwest, East?
I'll tell you what is it. So I'll just kind of tell you what my lineup is for the year.
Yeah, they do it.
I think it's pretty exciting. So I'm going wolf hunting on frozen lakes.
Nice.
In Alberta, which this will be the 3rd year I've done it. There's just something about it, just being way up there near the Northwest Territories.
Just wide open
nowhere.
country.
Yeah, and the outfitters have placed some bait out there, and it's covered in crows, usually, if the crows are hitting it. The bait's frozen because it's -40, -20 degrees. It's usually, and so the wolves can't really go on it. They're way smarter than you think. It's not a gimme. You could go there the whole time and not see a wolf. But man, when a whole pack comes out and you're like stuck in the bush and you're like, there's just something really, it's not like it's a hard hunt. It's just wild. And so I love that hunt.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've got black bear.
Mm-hmm.
Do that every spring. And this year I'm going to go into some remote area and I'm going to try to do it with a bow this year.
Is that in
always
Utah?
Rifle hunted. No, it'll be another Western state.
Okay.
Utah is not the best for bear hunting.
That's what I've heard.
And I'll try to I won't have anybody out there, but you don't see a ton of bears, and then just because you see them doesn't mean you can get in on them with a bow.
Yeah.
I would say of all the ones I've taken with a rifle, it's usually a bunch of us, there's 3 or 4 of us all trying to fill 1 or 2 tags. And so, now it's just me. I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to get it done with a bow on a big boar.
Cool.
Just because I want that archery experience. Then I got a grizzly bear hunt in Alaska. It's just inland. So I'm working on getting my guide license up there. And so I'm putting in some hours. I'm going to help some other guys hunt. I got a great archery tag for mule deer, which in the state of Utah, you can draw like a tag that's good for 3 years. You can kill 2 bucks in 3 years.
Wow.
So I killed a stud mule deer this year. You get to hunt all 3 seasons with that tag, but you have to do a lot of conservation work for the state. It's called the dedicated hunter tag. It's a pretty cool tag. People don't want it because it's a lot of work.
You got to do work. Go figure.
3 years, but it's really a cool hunt because if you don't get something during archery, you go back during muzzleloader. You don't get one then. You can get one during rifles. So it's a cool tag. I was glad I got it. I'm looking at backpacking Africa, going into this area. We're kind of putting some plans together, backpack in, which you don't need to. I just want to get into this little mountain range and bow hunt or rifle. I'm not sure. Maybe bow hunt. I'd like to bow hunt some trophy kudu up in there. They're like, well, we're going to have some people on lion duty, like guarding each night. We'll have to take turns. And I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up. That sounds rad. So there's that. And then I'm going to go to Kodiak and try to bow hunt during like November for blacktail. Just a wild island, lots of black bear. We found a lot of brown bear up there last time, but it was a real mountainous area, and I liked backpacking in, and it's gnarly weather, and you're hunting with the bow in the snow, and that's another like affordable adventure that's got a lot of adventure and a low cost. So planning to do that, and then I want to hook up with a friend of mine, Nathan Endicott, and Wayne Endicott over at the Bow Rack. His son Nathan has a YouTube channel. He kills blacktails up there every year, so I wanted to connect with Nathan and go hunt some blacktails. It's all spot and stock with a bow in deep snow in like December, November. So I want to do that in the mountains of Oregon, Washington, and so it's mostly all bow hunting, and it's different stuff. I'd like to get a whitetail hunt in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm just putting the feelers out, and I'm going to ask around. I'm going to go to these trade shows and try to figure something out. But
that's a lot of freaking hunts, man.
They're spread out though, because the winter you get the wolf hunt in, you get a month or two, and then you get the black bear, and then you get a few weeks, and then the grizzly bear, and then you got maybe the Africa in the summer. So I'm home for a couple of months and then gone for a few weeks, home for a month, gone for kind of back and forth. But I suppose it's a lineup, but I usually do that every year. I do the winter hunts, spring hunts for bear, wolf, bear, and then it's almost always August, September. The thing that's kind of different is the Africa thing, which happens in the summer.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I've been wanting to go to Africa for years, but I don't want to do it like in a lodge and all that kind of stuff. And these guys are like, well, let's do it this way. It'd be cool. So that's kind of, those are the hunts that excite me. Like at this point, archery is really the more compelling of all of it. And so I'm kind of leaning on seeing what I can do. I mean, the thing with filming an archery hunt is they generally end in failure. I hate to say it, but that's the nature of the game.
Yeah.
And so you go out and you film this Kodiak hunt for, 10 days, and you come home with no buck. It's like, it's a dead of winter. It's not like they're in velvet up there.
Yeah.
Like an island or something. I don't know. But it's like, look, that's what I want to do though.
Yeah.
So just start doing what I want to do. And if I get one, I get one. If I don't, I don't. I'm just going to bring my audience along for the ride. And
which I think is cool, man, because like think about growing, even like whatever, 15 years ago in the heat of like outdoor television, it's like there were very few shows I ever watched where like the person was not successful, right? Like there was always a beginning, a climax and an end. And it was like, okay, they were here, they killed a deer or whatever, killed a bear, killed an elk, and they're done. And like, at some point as whatever, a teenager or 20-some-year-old kid, I was like, shit, man, like I go out all the time and I must suck because like I'm not successful all the time.
I heard you guys talking. You're like, if I sit down and watch Midwest Whitetail for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and they don't kill a deer, I'm like, what the hell? What are you trying to get? Like, you expect something out of some of these shows. And so you're kind of training your audience on what to expect. I think it's fair enough for the audience if they really want to see what a real adventure is like, and you're going to bring them on, and if you're a good storyteller and they know like you might get something, you might not, you're still going to make a great story.
Oh, no doubt.
Now,
man.
At some point, you got to put some arrows in some stuff.
You got to kill some shit.
Like, you're the pretender. You're the great pretender. You're not.
Yeah, you're just out there hiking all the time.
I'm like, but I'm confident I will. Some I'll win and some I'll lose, and I'll get enough wins that it's fine. And
that's cool.
It's but it's definitely safer over the years when I was trying to do this earlier, just to get a few rifle hunts. I only have so many days I can put in the field. I only have so many, I want a successful hunt. When you get something, it just gets views versus when you don't. And so archery's just been a, these archery channels that are really good or get a lot of viewership, there's like a team.
Oh yeah.
You got all these guys out there doing the hunts, and they're putting all their footage together.
Yep.
to produce a show like the Hunting Public.
Yeah.
You know, and they can get like 5 tags each or 10 tags each, right? It's a lot different than out west. I might get 1 deer tag.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't make 5 episodes out of that, and I'm not doing it with like 3 other guys, and so the volume game and the quantity game becomes a problem. And I'm like, just tell a better story then, Brian. Just tell a good story, spread it out, but keep it real. Like bring people along, and then you can have one hunt that carries 3 weekends and is meaningful to people. And you're not chasing something that you don't want to chase. I don't want to just go out there and smash a deer, average deer, and have a show. It doesn't interest me at all.
Right.
And so I don't want to chase those numbers. I want to chase meaning. If I'm going to go and spend time away from my family and go out into the mountains and do all this stuff, I want to do it for an animal that excites me and with a weapon that I want to use and the challenge I want to embrace. Well, that doesn't always translate into working, into the financial part of things and into the show type thing, what people are really tuning in. I'm like, well, you just have to sort of decide. I've just decided I'm going to go for this adventure that fulfills me, and I'm going to share it, and it lands where it lands. And it's just what it is. And I'm okay with that because, you know, I've been doing this a while, and I if it fails, I'm still good. I'm still good. I'm still able to do what I love, and I'm making income, and I'm feeding the family. It's just not, it won't be as good as I wanted. That's okay. All those experiences, I'm 51. I'm building a legacy of lifetime experiences still. Even if I don't get anything on Kodiak and I spend 14 days in a tent because it snowed and rained the whole time and we didn't see any deer, it's like, well, I went out and I tried.
That was it.
I went out and I dared to do it. And I have enough confidence that at the end of it all, when you boil it all down, I'll have enough successes on net that it's going to be fine.
Yeah, man.
I mean, dude, if I was in your situation and I was looking for, a whitetail hunt that is fulfilling, that gave you like the adventure element that you're looking.
Talk to me.
I would be just going to the very best of the best. Like at the risk of sounding snobby, I'd be like, how many do you have points in Iowa?
So I'm embarrassed to say I haven't got any points in any states.
No worries. So I'll run down the list here. First of all, buy a point in Iowa. Start.
You're not going there.
Start that process. I would say Kansas is high on the list, and we've got connections in some. I mean, nothing like turnkey, but like we can help. We'll help you figure it out. I'd be looking in Kansas just because it's wild.
I'm doing that. So
go ahead.
My friend Jeff Helm, he does a bunch of guiding in Texas and stuff. He gave me a lecture this year about if you want to go do this, you need to start getting points in Kansas and in Iowa.
Yep.
Look, what are you doing? And then and then I was like, in my mind, I was just kind of thinking whitetail, and you needed like private land access, just some kind of outfitter guide.
Dude, if you wanted the outcome that you want, like literally, I would say call up Lakoski and say, hey, I want to come deer hunting, and like, or somebody.
Well,
that's what I would do.
It depends on like if you want like an adventure style whitetail hunt. And I'm not saying it's going to be
both,
easy.
You want both.
You're not going to get that in Iowa. There's no adventure in Iowa.
Would it not be an adventure for you to go to Iowa?
Well, so adventure.
It was an adventure for us.
Adventure's on this teeter-totter. The bigger the animal is, the less the adventure is required.
So here's what you want. You want access.
Okay, you want Iowa.
You want Iowa, and you want access to the best of the best, which means private land. But you don't want hand holding. You don't want come out to the blind with me. And
I want freedom.
Okay, so you want a guy that's got enough private access that can say, hey, listen, there's some giants on this here, or it butts up to, there's a chance I'm not going to help you. Here's what little I know, or I'll help you as much as you want. Go get it. You have access to this. That's what you want, and you want the chance that a 180 can step out.
Yeah,
that sounds great. Can you?
I'm pretty happy with. I think
That's what
I don't know what my.
That's what I did last year in Iowa, Brian. That's what I did. So here, and I'll tell you, this is why you want it. We went and hunted one of Josh Beaumar's farms. It took us 5 years to draw stuff. He had this new farm, and he's like, I don't know what's on it. I'll throw a couple cameras up. Bam, there's a giant that showed up, and he gave us free rein, and I went in and killed it. And I don't know that it could have been If I could say, hey, everybody, I hope everybody gets to do that, that's what I would do. I'd say that's what you should do.
You and I need to get on the text string like later and kind of
Fine.
Help me out here.
Check this out. Here's
this is.
Oh, go ahead.
You guys see this?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
That's the mule deer I took this year.
Oh yeah.
With the cool drops and stuff. That was a rifle. I tried to get him during bow, and but I want that adventure, you know.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah.
But I wanted to show you the whitetail I shot back in the day. Yeah, I want to get out there and have more fun in the whitetail woods. Pedro, when we were on our hunt together, the very first hunt he did with me, I took him on this gnarly, nasty bear hunt, and he was like, "Dude, this is so hard. This is so much." I'm like, "But you've been to like Mongolia," and he's like, "Yeah, and people carry my stuff." Yeah, and I go like,
yeah.
He's like, "This is." He's never really camped out of his backpack. In all these years that he's hunted, it's like day stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So
in and out. Mm-hmm.
That's really what I was used to. Anyway, he says to me, "Brian, do you ever do any fun hunts?" And I'm like, "What do you mean fun?" He's like, "Hunts for fun, where you just like go out and chill and hang out, and you know." And I'm like, "Oh no,
no, we don't.
If it's not a suffer fest or a grind, it's not some big deer at the end. No, actually, I haven't really done that." And he's like, "You need to do more fun hunts."
You're like, that's
why I ended up.
You tell him that's fishing you're talking about. You could do that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I decided to go on that trip to Missouri with Mark. When he invited me, I was like, "Oh, that would be cool." So I don't know. I want to go and hunt. Just whitetail are just cool. I cannot find the picture of this deer.
Kansas is fun, and that has a lower barrier to entry than Iowa for sure.
Yep. Yeah. It sounds like there's more public land stuff too.
Lots of walk-in stuff and Army Corps stuff, and So I would say Oklahoma, though I've never hunted it, and I don't know what the public land situation is versus a lot of private. But
I've hunted Oklahoma. Oh, I did hunt Oklahoma with Tim Burnett.
Tim.
Tim.
And I shot a nice buck on his lease.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Well, I think it's nice. I mean, well, you guys tell me this is the buck I shot in Oklahoma. So I keep forgetting about these little whitetail hunts that I've grabbed.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, buddy.
It's a nice buck. I mean, I was stoked. This is the spot and stock buck that I killed in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. You kill a lot of whitetails, dude.
Yeah, look at all of a sudden he's ranking them up.
You can pull them up faster than I can.
More, I guess if there's a few more sneaking in. This was my favorite hunt though, right here. This was the buck that I killed in
Big
Ohio.
Sexy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's at the Latitudes one. Yeah, very cool.
That was a really cool hunt. He has double eye guards right there.
Brow tines in the west.
Oh yeah.
Or in the east.
He got two that match on each side. So he's got the two, and then he's got two bigger ones. Like,
oh yeah,
right
that's
there.
what Jared's had was those daggers.
Dude, I think just to plug you into like my whitetail headspace or ours, it's so we've done Iowa and Kansas, and I would say they have some of the greatest trophy potential, and they're awesome adventures, for you from the West and for us from, we're from the Pittsburgh area, Pennsylvania. Some ones that have been on my radar here recently, like they're different, but just, I don't know, they're on the radar for whatever reason. Canada, just in general, maybe specifically Alberta, I think, like sounds super fun. For white, go ahead.
The guys that I do the wolf stuff with, they kill some giant whitetails. And they did invite me to go up there and give my hand at it.
All right,
that sounds like a winner.
I'll put this to you. Get Pedro to come out, and the four of us will go up and shoot some freaking whitetails up in Alberta. That'd be fun. The other one,
would love that. This is the one that they took this year.
Holy moly!
Yep, that'll do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the camera's like giving it a little extra.
I don't think it matters. I think it's just a big animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
but I'll get Pedro round up. I would love to go do something like that in Canada.
That'd be a blast. So we'd be up for something like that. And then Texas more recently has been like somewhat on my radar. I'm not going to.
That's an interesting thing that I'm not roped into.
Yeah, I'm not going to sacrifice.
Okay, let me ask.
Go ahead. All right.
Let me ask you guys this. I watch a ton of whitetail videos.
Yeah.
The ones that I do not watch ever are Cactus Jack and so on. Like I'm just so uninterested in a corn feeder and a ground blind in Texas.
Yeah.
And it feels like every whitetail channel right now is doing it and doing it a lot.
Yeah.
Or a mule deer in Mexico. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything except sit in that blind and wait for the deer to come by. I feel like, and I've been there before, I feel like there's a little bit of we need content, right?
Yeah.
Like we can only do so many whitetail hunts, and the machine is driving you to put out another video. And it's like you sit in a blind, you kill like 3 whitetails on a weekend, and you have 3 shows. And people click it and they watch it. But I mean, gosh dang, you guys, like there's nothing to watch.
Well, it's an interesting thing, just for a second, because I've talked to a lot of the like people that have big lands and outfitting businesses in Texas, which is what most of that is, right? And the pressure there is that it's difficult to kill deer in Texas without bait, right? Just because of the habitat and what they do and what they live in. And so to guys like us who are like, we like challenges, right? Like I remember the old like Realtree Monster Buck stuff, and they're like in a bush just rattling their balls off, and crashing one through the, like, I love that. That's awesome. To where it is now, it's very like, I'm on a Sendero, there's corn down the Sendero, the deer come out on the Sendero, I shoot them. And I have zero desire to do that. In fact, to your point, Brian, the more I've seen that, and it's not a knock to Texas, I have zero desire to hunt Texas because of it.
For example, Cam goes out and hunts with Jelly Roll.
Yep.
And he kills a buck in a Texas hunt like that. Cactus Jack. I think he was at Cactus Jack.
Yep. Makes sense.
I think it's cool. Jelly Roll's never killed a buck before.
Yes, first buck with a bow. It's freaking awesome. Great.
I think that's great. And I'd tune in and watch that.
Yep.
But I don't care if Cam does.
No.
It does nothing for me. Like and for that type of hunt, the only reason I click that video is to see the absolute like gigantic deer. I just want to look at the deer walking. That's it. I'm not tuning in for the hunting. I'm tuning in for the spectacle. It's like it's like a hot chick. It's like you're clicking it to see the specimen. You're not clicking it for any other value purpose. And so I don't know. I seen it. I feel like the last 3 or 4 years, my feed is just filled with like ground blind hunts in Texas and or Mexico, and I'm like, why is so much of this popping up, and why is it? And I see it on everybody's channel too. Guys I followed for years that I follow their hunts, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. They track that deer. They have their game camera. And then it's like 5 episodes of them in Texas in a blind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they can just kill the shit out of them.
Yeah,
I think that's why.
And to me, it's like, I feel like it's, I mean, it's fun, I suppose.
Well, you guys made me self-conscious about it. Now I don't want to go anymore.
No, I'm sure like it's cool. Like if you're in like one of the lone trees in South Texas and like you get a buck coming through, like I'm sure it's cool. But like, I mean, I don't have a desire to just sit in a blind on a Sendero and wait for them to come out.
Well, here's.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it either, and I'm not saying that it's not fun or it's not a cool trip or anything like that. I'm not making a value judgment on that. But as far as something I'm watching to be inspired,
no, it doesn't exist.
It's not that.
So, what do you think the views are about, and what do you think it's happened? How do you think the audiences are responding to?
Who knows? We don't watch any of that either.
I think some of it's the celebrity stuff. I think a lot of it is, to your point, it's like the big buck shock of like, whoa, look at that thing, like because it always is close and good footage, and whatever.
I think the audience doesn't really care either way.
Yeah, they're just watching. Dude, that's the shallow pool I'm talking about, right? Wide but shallow. Yeah. Like that's not Cam's thing, but all of a sudden Cam's doing that, and people are watching it. But it's like that's not his narrow and deep spot.
They forget it. They forget it the moment they've watched it. But he did get their views for a short window.
I would shoot the shit out of hogs if I was in that. In fact, if I went down and they're like, "Hey, you could shoot a buck," I'm like, I just want to sit here and just destroy hogs for like the entire.
Well, yeah, they have no soul. And so
yeah, I just want to kill the shit out of them.
Yeah,
like that would be fun as hell.
Yeah. Well, dude, honestly, that is where I'm coming from on the Texas thing. Like, I'm not looking at it as like, oh, that would be a really challenging hunt that I'm really dedicated. I'm going to train for and stuff. For me, it's like by the time Texas comes into my brain, it's like, I have fought for every single buck that I've gotten to this point. Maybe we will have gone to Canada, or maybe we did a spot and stock mule deer hunt. I killed 2 in Illinois. I sat 10 days dark to dark. I went to Kansas. I pushed it. By the time Kansas or Texas enters my brain, it's like December 15th, 20th, to where I'm like,
you're the old ruddy buck coming out to the corn pile. You're like, this is pretty nice.
Boy, I could go drink some bourbon with some guys in Texas and just fling some freaking arrows. And if they're gonna put a 180 in front of me, sure, I'd shoot that.
It does feel like a rich man's game.
It's like just a gimme.
Well,
deer,
that's a big
20 grand or something, depending on their scores, and it's all trophy based and inches based. And
well, Brian, we just got to get some sponsors, man. Just get
here's what I would do, and I'm not saying.
Why don't you guys buy us a deer down there at Cactus
I'm
Jack?
not saying that it's going to be nearly as cool, right? But it's just because I've been down there and I've experienced it. If it's the late season stuff, if it's January, dude, I would encourage us to get together and go hunt Mississippi in January.
But you're still talking about hard shit now.
No, I mean, dude, if you get at the right place in the Delta in January, you're gonna see some bucks and you're gonna see some giants in there.
All right.
And like that at least in that experience, I'm in a better place of like, okay, like I'm in the South. It's
when I go with Mark to Missouri, he grew up there. He played at Missouri State football.
Yep.
He's old, and all we do is kick around from property to property. We're like knocking doors, old friends and stuff. And he smoked a giant buck, a nice buck, like 150s behind a truck stop that his buddy owns. And it was actually fun as hell. But it wasn't that big of an adventure, but it was really fun. And there was a haunted house out there, and all these kids were there, and they were playing AC/DC, and this buck, I mean, it's cranking and the buck comes out right in the middle of this ACD Rocks song, and it's like sitting there like strutting after this doe, and he put an arrow in it. And I'm like, what do I do with this video? You can hear the cars and you can hear ACDC.
You didn't even have to dub music into it. It's just there. You got to pay the licensing fee.
Licensing fee.
I remember being at the ATA show and seeing Lee and Drew walking around from Seek One. They're carrying these giant racks.
Oh yeah.
And it's like 2017.
I remember that.
And the idea of urban bow hunting was just not okay. Like it was just sort of looked down on as like
you're like in the backyard. Like, okay, dude.
Like under that girl's swing set, that's just morally wrong. Like that's not hunting.
Yeah.
And then to see how it's caught on and it's very popular, I think it's really cool. So I'm not trying to make a judgment call on in terms of people's adventure and challenge and what they do. But I am asking is like, it doesn't interest me, but am I just being like, am I just wrong?
No.
Or is it that people are like you said, shallow, but not deep?
I think it's the shallow, but deep. I would say that, dude, I've never been intrigued by Texas deer hunting. Like as a Pennsylvania kid growing up, like that just like there was no possible way to relate to it.
We were like rattling like the element guys and carrying decoys around and shooting deer and spot and stock. And it was fun. That's completely different than what you see from 90% of the stuff out there though. What is it like South Texas where it's all dirt and corn?
Yep.
Yeah.
And mostly high fences.
I will say
I was near Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like to contrast that kind of like a Texas whitetail hunt, like if you were to ask me like really what is a hunt that would like excite you, in the same region, I would say like I don't know where in Texas, I'm not, or in like a Mexico mule deer hunt, like an actual spot and stock, like a challenging high desert mule deer hunt. Yeah. I mean, I would take that 10 times out of 10 over the Texas whitetail hunt we just described, but they're very different things.
The only thing that like I see from some of these Texas hunts, and I don't know about Cactus Jack, haven't been there, don't know what it's like, is if I could put myself in it, it would be the deer camp. Like if it's us three and like a Pedro and deer camp, and we're just out there, they're like, hey, you guys can shoot $5 each. We're like, shit's about to die. Like
I want to do that.
Just go, dude.
Slam these 3 bourbons, get in the helicopter. We're going to shoot hogs.
Yeah, dude. If we're just there to just paint the town red, essentially, dude, it would be a blast, right? Yeah. Because it's not the challenge of the hunt. Well, it's part of it, but it's the camp, it's the people, it's that side of it.
Yeah, I agree. I know Pedro just did a Texas hunt, didn't he? Like from the blind, like.
Oh, was he a Cactus Jack?
Jack style. I think he did that like a month ago or something. I wasn't.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think I'll poke around with some of my connections in Canada, and I would love to do something like that. And I'll talk to Pedro too and see what he's got lined up. And I've been trying to do another. I wanted to go do. Pedro and I talked about. Pedro offered, like, he goes, let's connect and let's do these 4 hunts.
Yeah.
One of these 4 hunts, you pick them. And I'm like, too expensive.
Yeah.
Like, they were all like pretty tough to reach for me. So
dang.
I'm like,
apparently his YouTube channel's doing well.
That's why so
he's like, no, these are euros.
He was like, he goes, Brian, I said, how was that sheep hunt in Kamchatka, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, dude, was it the snow sheep or something? And he told me that was like this super rewarding hunt, and it was such a grind, and it took so many days, and he had to go back and do it again because he failed the first time, and all the time and energy, and he's like, and nobody watched it. And then he goes, then I shot a crocodile in the head, and everybody
everybody
half a million views,
man.
And he's like, it really makes me question. I went to Africa and just nailed it for a week, and I hit all these animals, and I have all these shows that people actually clicked on, and the shows that were the more meaningful, deep, and hard shows for me, nobody watched. So again, the incentive structure sort of pushes you away from the things that you find meaningful to go and do these things that get clicks. And it's like, I don't want to fall into that trap, or you'll end up missing out on a lot of great experiences that are deep for you.
Yeah.
Just so you can like pursue a livelihood. So there needs to be a balance. You know, he gave me a lecture about, not being too much of a purist. I think Pedro's doing a good job of balancing that, where it's like, okay, there's a practicality to what you're creating and a business you're running. And then also you need depth and meaning too. And you kind of need to, you can't just be all purist,
Yeah.
There's money to be made, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We'll help you out with the whitetail thing however we can. I mean, our connections are, they are what they are. We'll do what we can, and then if there's opportunities to do like more adventure style stuff, especially one of those two, it sounds like in Canada or in Texas, maybe we can figure something out. That'd be a lot.
Definitely. We'll stay in touch. I'll kick some things your way. It would be fun to go out and
that'd be cool.
Film it together.
Yeah, dude, we always, at least me, I think it's so exciting, like the idea of getting to go, like Brian, we look up to you a lot. The fact that the podcast that you've built there and stuff, and the films that you're doing, and so like even though we don't know each other until today, we do now. I'm like, man, it would be so cool. It's fun for us to see industry guys like get together, and actually like build a friendship and get to go do a hunt like that together. I'm like, dude, for me, that's it. Even if you get to do like 1 or 2 a year, like that'd be cool. Sick.
Yeah, I should have. I stopped collaborating very much for a while there.
Yeah.
I just got busy, got in my own little circle, and I really felt like, I didn't go to any shows for like 3 or 4 years, and really, really pulled back. I had family, life just gets going and stuff. And it was, and I really felt like about a year ago, I was like, I'm going to do a lot more to try to be part of the industry and show up at some of these events and kind of get to know people that and collaborate a lot more than I have. And I've been doing that, and I've really been enjoying it. And so when you guys reached out and said, would you do this? I was like, thank you. 'Cause I really do want to connect and, get to know more folks and build more relationships than I have. So
I agree, man.
Cool. It's cool.
Well, the community, per even what we talked about with the Hunt Quietly people, like the community gets a bad rap. There are good people in it, and they do things for the right reason. And I think the more aligned that those people are, the better the overall community is, both viewership from like our internal hunting community as well as the outside public, right? Because anybody can find any of our shit on YouTube or wherever and look at it and listen onto it. So yeah, for us, it's just aligning with the people that share the same thought process, whether it's species specific and or just ideal specific. And yeah, that's who we want to connect with more.
Are you going to be at ATA in a couple weeks?
I'm not. I was thinking about it. I was going to go. I was going to try to get there, but I'm going to be at the sheep show, be at the Western Hunting Expo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to get to a few Total Archery Challenge events.
Ooh, okay.
Out east.
Sweet.
You should come to the Pennsylvania one, dude. The Pennsylvania one is a monster.
We're close. Yeah, we're like half hour from Seven Springs.
What are the dates for the Seven Springs?
It's the end of May. It's like whatever, the 31st or something of May.
I mean, when I've been to PA 2 or 3 times, times for sure. I know of. It's insane.
Oh, dude,
the amount of bow hunters in Pennsylvania.
It's a monster.
Off the chart.
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna say, they loved me. I just the Western guy coming over and hanging out. They were like, "We appreciate you making the trip."
Yeah,
it was just like all love. It was pretty cool. Where I go to Montana, and they're like,
"Yeah,
I hunt out west too.
Yeah.
You think you're all hot,
Yeah.
So
yeah, we appreciate you out here. Just come back.
Yeah, I'll try that. So around May 31st.
Yeah, 30th. I think that's what I don't remember if it's the couple days before that or the into the 1st of June, but I know May 31st is one of the dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look that up. I've been thinking about Pennsylvania on the list. It jumps in. It falls into that bear season sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That black bear season.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to get that underway long before that. So
there you go.
Get my bear tag filled early in May, so I should be able to make it. And then I go grizzly like June, so I have that little window. If it's late, it'd be perfect.
Here it is. It's May 28th through the 31st.
There you go.
Of 2026.
May 28th. Yeah, I'm gonna try really hard to be there.
It's a cool event, man. Like you said, there's a ton of people, good atmosphere. As long as the weather's good, that was the downfall.
That's where I lose the most. That's where I lose the most arrows, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bring more
because there's too many damn trees.
Yeah.
And Sean makes that target so that you have to shoot like between this, like.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like I can go out west and drop these bombs, and no arrows lost.
No.
I go to PA and it's like every shot's 25 yards, but you got to shoot through like 55 branches.
Dude, those trees take a beating in Pennsylvania on the course. Like you come around the bend, you're like, ooh. That's 100 arrows right there.
Yeah. I love that shoot though. But yeah, I'll do what I can to get there, and be great to hang out a little bit.
Yeah,
love that.
Cool, man. Well, dude, we appreciate your time this afternoon, and good to get to know you, and let's definitely stay in touch here.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
HUNTR Podcast is brought to you by Bushnell.
Man, what an iconic brand. I mean, I vividly remember growing up, it seemed like every serious deer hunter had a Bushnell pair of binoculars or a Bushnell rifle scope. You knew that those guys were serious about what they were about to go with if they were packing the Bushnell stuff.
No doubt, man. I remember Bone Collector guys and so many others that we've respected over the years. It's always been like your grandpa's rifle scope. And since then, obviously, they've developed so many great products. We're rocking the R series of binoculars this year. I believe it's the R5 10x42s. Those have been awesome. We took those to TAC a couple weeks ago, along with the Broadhead rangefinder. It's got a ton of technology packed into it for angles and and for bow hunters ultimately. So that's been awesome.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things, we've talked about this with a lot of the brands we're working for, is we want high quality gear that's affordable, and that's exactly what Bushnell's trying to position here. They want to make really good gear that anyone that's serious about deer hunting can afford. And so most of those R5 series binos that we're talking about are under $300 for unbelievable glass.
No doubt. And so for right now, you can use code HUNTR, HUNTR, to get a discount on the Bushnell website. That's bushnell.com.
The OG, Brian Call.
Pretty cool, huh?
Gritty Bowman.
Gritty Bowman. Takes me back to the Garrett Brain days.
It's funny, like I remember that Rogan one.
That's this guy right here.
Gary Brain.
Gary Brain. Tribute.
Tribute Tenacious D.
They're fallen soldiers.
Yeah, I remember watching that Rogan one, and it's funny because like it's cool to hear it from Brian's side of just like literally like overnight explosion.
Yeah,
it's wild how that can kind of just happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure it happens a lot. Like I'm sure whether it's Joe or whoever says something, you know, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what's that? And you know, blows up.
It's amazing the influence of some individuals, you know, and Rogan, certainly is one of them. It's interesting to see that.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I think Rogan had a giant influence on the results of the election.
100%.
Like,
100%.
Undoubtedly.
100%.
So,
did you see that thing the other day? Small sidetrack here. That thing with Nicki Minaj saying something about J.D. Vance being the assassin.
No, wasn't she just that, like a turning point thing?
Yeah. So it was her and Erica Kirk sitting on a stage.
Yeah.
And Nikki starts saying something about like, and something else, my man, the assassin, J.D. Vance. And then it was like a super weird, awkward moment. And then she's like,
what?
Yeah, it was weird.
Interesting.
So
he was training with the Navy SEALs the other day.
Who, J.D. Vance?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Probably right after sniper school.
I don't know about that. Training with the Navy SEALs. He got a little chub on him, don't he?
Yeah, I think they were just doing their thing. Carrying the log, whatever else they do.
Carrying the log. Classic. laying in the water.
Laying pipe.
Carrying the log.
Yeah, so. Anyways, it's funny when you kind of look at that. And, I mean, he kind of blew it off there of like, you know, I'm just going to do like 40 or 50 pods this year. I'm like, that's 1 week, basically. Like, that's still a lot in addition to the films and stuff. And
you can, like, so we...
Yeah, his style is very different.
Right. Well, you know, you and I are trying to keep them like real time. They're not interviews necessarily. We have guests, you know, for most of them, but his format, I think, it's way more interviews. It's not.
Yeah, it's just, hey, 2-hour deep dive into who are you type of thing. Where ours is very, you know, that's more of a get to know Brian, but like a lot of them are, here's what the season is. What are you guys doing? Here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I you know, I do think that we're in this phase, and it's probably not just YouTube, right? It's every kind of social media, you know, TikTok, whatever, in this like, you know, wide but shallow from an attention span segment of push.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like you eventually go back to the narrow and deep side of things because, you know, you want to know whatever, what's the best way to plant this food plot on my property, or what's the best way to trap coyotes, or what's the best way to whatever change the oil on my truck, or like you find these niche groups that like that's where you dive into, and that's where you know, that's why you've got like the Ford guys on trucks and the Chevy guys on trucks, and like so I think ultimately it circles back around there, and like our lane is very much whitetail, and if you dive deeper, it's bow hunting whitetails. If you dive deeper, it's land management for whitetails. Like that's the lane that we're in. And I think Brian is very much in like, he's the adventure hunter. That's his lane. And it's cool because like, that's the, you know, there are other people in those lanes, but like you just try to keep on keeping on doing your thing. And eventually it'll come back around and it'll be like, hey, those guys know their shit in this lane. Yeah.
Well, and there's you see the temptation of, you know, building a business or generating revenue from, not just in Brian's case, but in anybody, you know what I mean? And you and I are super transparent about it. It's like, you know, hey, once you start to like bring money in from something, you know, it's like it creates a reliability. You're like, well, I rely on that income. We use it for this or like that. And so I feel, you know, super fortunate that like, and I'm not saying Brian did this at all, but like I'm being grateful in our situation here. Like we haven't compromised our format of the show at all. You know, we basically have said like, I don't care. You know, I don't care.
Yeah,
I hope it.
I'm not changing.
I hope it. You know that we can generate revenue in some way. You know, or be compensated for invest the time, because I think we can put it. Yeah, I think we can put it to good use to keep doing what we're doing. But you do see the temptation. You know, I think Brian explained it well of like.
You're manipulating your style to appease the man.
Yeah. Or the algorithm.
The algorithm.
Basically, which is what? It's like a mystical...
And you see that. Like, I mean, look at the content that goes out. It's like some of those people never produced that type of content. It was completely different. And now all of a sudden it's, they've manipulated the type of content they're putting out to appease the algorithm, right? And so I'm just not going to do it. And to be honest, that to me is a never-ending chase game. Cool, you change. 2 weeks from now, they change the algorithm again. You get to change again, and change again, change again. Like, it's a never-ending thing, And so, we're just the guys that are just going to keep on keeping on in the lane. And
not to say it doesn't work.
Oh, no. I mean, they get views, and they grow their channels, and they probably make a bunch of money on it.
Yeah.
But it's not what we're going to do.
Well, yeah, hopefully we can just, be secure enough in what we're doing. That, and it's, so like, and nothing against these guys in particular, but he's mentioned like the Cam Hanes and the jelly roll thing. I mean, to me personally, just me, I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, you know what I mean? If I see one more Cam and jelly roll, posted, I'm like, I just don't care. I don't care about it.
Yeah.
And I feel that way. Not so much, that's nothing against Cam or those guys, it's more the generalist, like it really is like the meat eater style stuff where like, to me, I'm just like, it's watered down. It's not anything that I care about.
Well, and it kind of sucks because like, I think first of all, from a jelly roll side, like he's put himself into better light and him, appreciating hunting and bow hunting for deer is a good thing for the hunting community to the outside.
Sure.
At the same end, it's like, to your point, you're just kind of, overseeing that stuff, right? Because it's just like, it almost, I would say, do you feel like that's a little bit like disingenuous when you see it?
No.
You're just over like the celebrity thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have always thought that it's like people worship. You know what I mean? It's like famous people. Like,
dude, that's the world.
I know. Well, and
look at Taylor Swift. It's like,
I know.
There's billions of Swifties.
I know. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, that to me is gross and it's weird.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point.
Well, I think what's,
and just to see it happening in real time is like, it's, and I know that's how the world is, but it doesn't make it any less weird to me.
Well, I mean, maybe we ended on this note, but like, to me, that is where hunting has gone, and it's not in a good way. Of like 20 years ago, the hunting influence was your grandparent, your dad, your uncle, your family or close friends you got into hunting because of that. That was the influencer. Now, the influencer is the jelly roll, the Joe Rogans. Like that is the people recruiting new hunters into the community at a higher rate. And I'm not saying that it's good or bad necessarily, as much as the problem there is those new recruits need support. And the family model, right? And I'll give Rex all the credit. He's the one that said, it's the breakdown of the American family that's causing this issue. The family model, the support system was there. As you grew as a hunter, as you got into the hunter, the family system was there. In this system, they get you in. There's nobody to support you.
Sure.
And so most of those people are failing miserably, I would assume.
Yeah, that's fair. And I don't even know that I'm trying to like make a point here. As just,
I thought you were. Sorry.
It's the people worship thing for me. It's just, and I see it happen in this industry, which is super weird to me because I'm like, guys,
from like an idolization side.
I'm just like, guys, we're freaking deer hunters. Like, trust your gut, hunt deer, hunt deer, the way that you want to hunt. To see the people worship thing happening, like, or the putting people on a pedestal, like in our industry, it just is weird to me.
It's been for as long as I can remember, dude. I remember watching Waddy and Bill Jordan and Jeff Foxworthy and all those guys on TV, and I'm like, I want to meet those guys.
Yeah.
They're cool hunters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so I guess I can say, having met all those guys, or, almost most of them, it's like, some of them are great guys. You know what I mean? And it's okay to want to meet and do that, but...
You mean like the worship side of things?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I
would also say on the back end though, like, and they would say this too, probably, like, they're just guys.
They're just dudes.
They're just guys, just like literally no different than you and me.
Yeah, just dudes. No, I completely agree. And yeah, it's definitely won't root down the issue. Per what I said, though, it is an issue of the recruitment without a support system.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, and that is a big pathway right now, and yeah, I mean, it all ties back into the experience thing, which is what we're trying to get across here, and try to, you know, either stabilize and or hopefully enhance. Enhance. So anyways, we appreciate everyone listening to episode 300. That's 300, 3 hours.
Hey.
Correlation, maybe. And with Brian Call, the OG of Gritty Bowman. And we will see you on the next one.
Later.
Take me